making it as a footballer, didn't quite make it, wasn't good enough. So I said, what's the next best thing? The next best thing is to be in sports broadcasting, talk sport, see sport for a living. But that kida of going to the field never really went away. And I am 40 now. ACL reconstruction on my right, ACL reconstruction on my left, meniscus reconstruction on my left. And the latest episode happened a few days back. I was in Bombay for the Asia Cup, and I went and saw two doctors by the name of Dr. Anand Joshi and Dr. Dinshaw Partiwala. And both of them told me, you have knee degeneration going on, your ligaments are gone, you cannot run, don't even think of playing football. Now, as sir would know, जिनके अंदर कीड़ा होता है, I did that, what any madman would do. And I said, these two doctors don't know what they're talking about. Chodo, inki advice. So I am on that path that I have to get back to the field. Come what may. It's a fight with that ego, because the ego comes in play. But it's such a personal relationship, right? People keep asking me, why do you love sports so much? And I'm guessing all of you are asked the same question as well. It's a feeling that is so personal. It's a feeling that stays with you your entire life. The freedom to express yourself, a place where you can find yourself, the drive to succeed, which can never be greater than the drive to respect your opponent and be fair. And thus, there is no greater teacher than sport. We come here today in search of dialogue for bettering the sports government, the sports environment in our country. We have for you planned 3 panel discussions, which is on sports governance and policy, business of sport, and women in sport. And in between them, we had 3 fireside chats for you with 3 winners that have earned laurels for our country, narrating their experiences and also the failures that taught them. So let's get started today with our opening speaker. We are delighted that he could take our time and join us this morning. Gutsy, hardworking, full of heart, equipped with his never say die attitude. Madipa, as he's fondly known in cricketing circles, was an integral part of India's World Cup winning campaign in 1983. Just ask the great Vivian Richards, who was going all guns blazing at Lord's, only to be sent packing by Sir. Please put your hands together for the one and only Madan Lal.
Sorry. Thank you, Arjun. You already have introduced to the people, so I can start, Good morning. First of all, thank you very much, Times of India, calling me for this summit. There's so many legends are sitting in front of me, so I'm a bit nervous also. I have to take a few deep breaths to start my innings, because so that I can play the very first ball with a straight bat. It's always very difficult for a sportsman to dress the gatherings, but whatever I have in my heart, the experience I have, I'll let you know. So the first thing is, as most of people, the sports is growing in a very alarming rate. Because most of the reason is that in our country, the sportsmen have started doing well. From 1928 to 1952, I don't know if the dates, the years are right or wrong, when we won the hockey gold medals. And after that, we won the 1983 World Championship, Cricket World Championship. Nobody has given us a chance. Then we won the Benson Hedges Cup in Australia, 1985. Then we won the Asia Cup in Sharjah, 1991. So the cricket has comes in a long way. I tell you the story a little bit, if I go back. 1983, when we won the World Cup, And the next World Cup was 1987 in India. Do you know that that World Cup Indian Cricket Board only paid 100 crores for that World Cup, and they didn't even have the money to give it to the sponsors or give it to the ICC. So you can imagine how they have marketing their sports. I believe that you must, any sports, you have to market your sports. And cricket has done it very well because we have two great men, Mr. Dalmia and Mr. I.S. Bindra. These two people are amazing. I've seen them, I worked with them, and they were the fantastic people, They know how to make money. And that's where the Indian cricket is grown. Whatever it is now, it's $1 billion industry. Can you imagine the Indian cricket is $1 billion industry? Most of the country, those people, those who are, when we used to go and play in outside, they used to look, we used to look down upon, niche humare dikhate the. So that was a different story now. Everybody is coming to India to, they want to work here, they want to play here, and all these things is happening. I believe, sports is very easy to manage. Very easy to manage. I managed Delhi cricket for 1 year. I made them a champions. For 1 year, BCCI has given us the award. And I never ever believe in my life that I'm going to work for 3 years. Never. I only want 1 year. Because I have to show my result. In a 1 year or maximum 2 years. If you are good, you hire me. If you're not good, don't hire me. And this game, now the sports have become very professional. Very, very professional. Like all these people, hockey gold medalists, 1986 world champions, or there is so many legends I was watching on the screen. Milkha Singh ji, uske baad aapke Barjinder boxer, there's so many Mary Kom and other series, so many, Bindras, shooters, or there's so many. And now this javelin thrower, Chopra, they have done amazing because these are the people who give us a motivation. But now the game has very professional. Are we ready for that 10 years? I don't look for 1 year. If you want to grow the sports, you have to look for 10 years. 10 years beyond. You have to see that everything is in the right place. I played 22 years in England as a professional cricketer. I tell you the very small story of professionalism. I got hit on my hand and my hand was broken. And on my Saturday, my secretary comes. He said, Mr. Lal, what do you think about Sunday game? I said, my hand is fractured. He said, okay, right, no problem. I said, what do you mean by that? He said, no, you're right-hand bowler. You don't bat. I said, I can't hold the bat. He said, no, don't bat. You bowl. I have to bowl 25 over because they paid for my job. That's what I learned from them there. And that's what I always believe in India also. There is no honorary post in life. I don't believe in that. You should pay for the job and have accountability. That is the only way you can grow. हमारा क्या होता क्या है कि हम I don't want to hit hard. Only the thing I want to say, be professional, please. If you really want to grow your sports, and give it to the professional. I was in Andhra, about 2 weeks back. They have 13 districts. 13 districts, they have developed the games. 13 districts, every district has a ground. And most of the coaches, past, present coaches, they have given them the job. Go and do it. And search the talent. That's why Indian cricket is in a very healthy state because we have a lot of talent. Because the system is in a right place. You have to have the system in a right place. You cannot win medals without, okay, right, these people are giving us some motivation to win a lot of medals or world champions. Now, if you want to win more medals, then you have to organize yourself. हमारा होता क्या है कि हमारे जो कई ऐसे लोग हैं जहां पे राइट जगह पे गलत लोग आ चुके हैं. There is wrong people are sitting there. They doesn't know about the sports ABC of it. But हम as a sportsman, क्या होता क्या है हमारे में? What we do, we go and say, hello sir, give me a job, this and that, because we need that jobs. But वो मिलते ही नहीं है. It's a full-time job. Someone has to sit there, listen to the players. कि वो क्या कहना चाह रहे हैं आपको. तो आप जब अगर उनको सुनोगे, समझोगे, तभी आप डिसीजन ले पाओगे अच्छे. नहीं तो आप डिसीजन नहीं ले सकते. एंड आई ऑलवेज बिलीव इन माई लाइफ सिटिंग अक्रॉस द टेबल you can solve any problems. We might have a difference of opinions, but you can have your own opinion. That's it. And end of the day, when you come out of the meeting room, you say, "No, we have taken the decision. Not so and so has taken a decision." This is Indian habits. We take things at home. We crib about all the time. कि हमें ये नहीं है, हमें उसने ये नहीं किया, उसने किया था डिसीजन, आपको उसने सेलेक्ट करने. आई वाज द कोच फॉर इंडियन टीम फॉर 1 year. I was a selector for Indian team but the only thing I used to think कि have I done a good job. मैं यही सोचता रहता था कि यार मेरे से कोई गलती ऐसी ना हो जाए कि कोई बच्चा, कोई प्लेयर रह जाए, deserving candidate. I don't want to miss him. So I used to sit on the plane and think about it. And because this game has given me everything. आज मैं यहाँ podium पे खड़ा हूँ because of the game. People recognize me because of the game. So I worship this game. Like Arjun said, it's a kida. I still involve myself in the game most of the time in my game. I teach, I coach players. I've done a lot of sports psychology also. I've done all the courses in my life. And I teach them in a manner where they can achieve the highest level of achievements. So it's very easy to organize. And don't have a sportsman. The only thing is I request the sportsman, don't have any ego. Leave your ego at home. Don't have it. Because when you are in the administrative part of it, you come down and manage the sports in a proper manner. और ये सबसे अच्छी बात ये है कि when you come down, when you manage the people, you will see the results coming. So that is the only way you can run the sports. So we need people. We need politicians. मैं गलत नहीं कह रहा. Because कौन करेगा government का काम? Marketing people you need. And there is so many other departments where you need people, good people, around you. So that's where you can achieve a lot of good result. And the only thing I would like to say that this game, this sports in India, in 20 years' time, it will be one of the biggest industry in our country. You wait and watch. Because there is a lot of youngsters playing. I never seen. बच्चे बाहर से आते हैं, इतना talented, I never seen. And please create the structure because this country has grown. Like I tell you the Delhi part of it, that the young kid, they go and play the matches and 50 miles away from the ground, from their home, घर से 50 किलोमीटर दूर जब वो मैच खेलने थे. क्यों? There should be infrastructure in 5 kilometers, every 5 kilometers. You should divide Delhi in a 4-6 parts. Then you have to have a structure where people the youngster can only travel for 5 kilometers, about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. That's the only way you can do it. 50 मील अगर वो जाएगा मैच खेलने के लिए, 50 मील आएगा, 100 मील तो उसके बेचारे के ऐसे ही चलेंगे. वो करेगा क्या? He cannot do anything. And the best way out to, in the last I would like to say, the best thing you can do to achieve result, which I have done it, decentralize your powers. Don't think you can on your own, you can do it. You can never do it. Give it to the responsibility of the people. I always believe, when I was looking after Delhi, मैंने हर department given to the people, Bhi jao, you do it. Never mind, even if they go and do the job, they will learn. That's the way I always believe. कि एक इंडिविजुअल जो है वो काम नहीं कर सकता. इफ यू डिसेंट्रलाइज, गिव ए कॉन्फिडेंस टू द पीपल, आत्मविश्वास देना बड़ा जरूरी है उनको कि हाँ ठीक है, बट डिजर्विंग कैंडिडेट शुड बी देयर. मेरे को पता है जैसे जैसे स्पोर्ट्स चलती है वैसे वैसे बड़े लोग जो घुसना चाहते हैं अंदर, दैट इज नॉट द राइट. एंड द टॉप ब्रास जो हैं लोग वहां पे, उनको चाहिए कि दे शुड hire the people, those who are deserve it. That's the only thing I would like to say. And I love the sports. I love football. I love hockey. I love golf. I play a lot of golf. I like, most of the time, any sports is coming on television, I will watch it. Watch it. The other day, I was watching who's the powerful man in the world, वो जो पत्थर उठा के रखते हैं ऊपर. So I was enjoying it because I was just, analyzing how can they do it, be the powerful person in the world. So these are the things, which matter. So I love sports, and most of the sportsmen are sitting there. I wish you all the best. Look after yourself and don't have any ego. Work for the sports. That is the motto should be there. Never. And another thing which never look for a work. Don't look for a money. If you do a good job, you get the money. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. That talk was just like your personality, straight from the heart. Maza aa gaya sun ke. I have a little bit of trivia. There's a mic. Someone has a mic at the back. Yeah, there's a mic there. I'm just going to ask you. So the first ever World Cup happened in the year 1975. Any guesses for who bowled the first ever ball in the World Cup? Any guesses? That first ball in that first edition of the 1975 World Cup was bowled by who? Anyone? If you raise your hand, I'll send the mic at you. I'll give you a hint. He just delivered a massively good talk right now. Madan Lal. That's correct. Madan Lal bowled that first ever ball in the 1975 World Cup. Facing him was Dennis Amiss of England. Thank you so much, sir. Right, time now for our first panel discussion. And this panel discussion is navigating sports governance and policy. It's safe to say, as sir mentioned as well, India is no longer a country that only excels in and loves watching cricket. It has been for a while. There's no denying it. But that trend has changed over the last 10 years. That's absolutely true. I'll give you an example. I was lucky to be a part of that first season of the Ultimate Kho-Kho. And if you get the chance to watch it live, that sport is played at breakneck speed. Ta, 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 ta. They keep moving like that. Ultimate Kho-Kho, that first season, got 64 million views on television and OTT. And that's not the best part. The best part is that the demographic breakup was 59% male, 41% female were watching that first season of Ultimate Kho-Kho. Policymakers in the field have played a huge part in that, and there is no denying it. I'll give you a few examples. Recently, we just had the highest ever sports budget unveiled this year, 3,400 crore, which was earmarked for sport. Right? There is the Dhakar program in Haryana, which is what? It's a bid to get kids to come and play and participate in sports. And then look no further than Odisha. What Odisha is doing, the government of Odisha is doing, they have a dedicated sports curriculum, which will be implemented in schools and colleges. And they also have top-of-the-line facilities, which are being used by various national teams, including football. Right, so may I please now call on stage our panelists for this first ever panel discussion. Mr. Adil Sumarewala, President, Athletics Federation of India. Commodore P.K. Garg, CEO, TOPS. And Ms. Deepa Malik, Paralympic India, Khel Ratna, Padma Shri, and Arjuna Awardee. Moderating this discussion will be Sushant Mehta, founder and CEO, Sports Yari.
Good morning, everyone. Right. So let's just jump straight into it. Ma'am, I'm going to start with you. Obviously, needs no introduction. Khel Ratna, Padma Shri. Pleasure to have you over here with Times of India. First of all, we've got the most budget in the history of sports budgets, in 23-24. Still, there are so many barriers for sports to actually realize its potential in India. As Madhdeepa just said, 20 years down the line, and it's going to be the biggest industry maybe in India. But right now, from an athletic perspective, from athletes' point of view, and from the government's point of view, what do you think the barriers are?
Good morning, everyone. And I think we are fast covering the barriers. The fact that we are all having discussions, celebrations of sports, and media houses are doing it. They're talking about sports movement, evolving sports. And the narrative is changing very fast from cricket to many other Olympic and Paralympic sport. Inclusivity is what impresses me the most because now all the policies, everything is becoming inclusive. But if you still talk to me about challenges, we have just begun and it is work in progress. So we definitely have to work harder towards better governance. We have to work harder towards accountability because allocation of funds is one thing and diligent accountability and dedication and also for the federations to take on their role with a lot of responsibility. If government is extending their hand, when our Honorable Prime Minister on the 15th of August speech from the Red Fort speaks about development of Paralympic sport, it also becomes our duty to formalize and follow the sports code and get processes in order. If I speak about the challenges that Paralympic sport is facing or has faced, firstly, our growth has been many folds into little a time. Too much is expected. When we got 4 medals in Rio and we converted them into 19 medals at Tokyo within a span of 4 years, out of which 2 years went into COVID, and yet the growth was multifold. We talk about women participation, overall participation. There was a squad of 19 that went to Tokyo, where only 2 girls and one was a bipartite entry. Now, if I compare it to Tokyo, from 19 people playing, it became 19 medals. The squad was 300% bigger. And if I talk about women participation, from 3 women to 14 women in Tokyo, which is 350% of growth. So that is the expectation that has also come with these achievements. So we have to work very fast, but the intention is there, the support is coming, but we definitely need more sponsorships, more corporate houses to come and hold our hands. Government is doing its bit, but we need stakeholders to also take Paralympic sports seriously and become a part of our hard work and journey. And also, I would definitely talk about better infrastructure, which is more accessible. We need accessibility. We cannot have a competition without getting negativity involved in it because someone or the other raises a finger that athletes were not comfortable in disability. Now, there is no place that I, as a team leader, finds. Even five-star hotels don't have. So if we are heading to bigger hotels, we need bigger budgets. We need bigger support. We need transportation which is accessible for persons with disability. We need sporting grounds which are accessible. We need staying, boarding, lodging which is accessible and to accommodate 500 wheelchair users at one time. So these are some challenges that we have to battle alongside the progress of the sport.
Right, Mr. Samariwala, with the sponsors coming in, is there a tug of war between the policymakers and the ones who actually infuse the money?
Who's infusing the money?
The
Where are the
sponsors, I'm asking
sponsors?
for.
Where are the sponsors?
They are not there.
They're hardly there. Where are the sponsors? How many corporates are actually sponsoring federations? People don't understand that if you need a strong, robust system, Your system will be as strong as the combination of all the federations. Funding in the federations is so minuscule. The government funds athletes. The government does not fund federations. So just think about this. Today, you want our athletes to go and fight the best in the world. So it's like us going and fighting an Apple, an IBM, a GE, whatever.
Right.
What is the infrastructure that you have in terms of governance, in terms of people? 99% of the federations, people are voluntarily working like me. You have a CEO of, say, Apple. Now you want us to fight them. You want us to fight the Americans. You want us to fight the Germans. You want us to fight everything. But there is no money coming into the federation to be able to create that structure. So that is where the real problem is. I think corporate India has failed sport. Corporate India, if you look at the top 20 corporates, if you take their profits and not take 2.5% of CSR, but 0.5%, if they put into sport, is equal to the sports budget of India. Now, just try and understand, because people don't understand this. This is the perspective. How many people? Yes, there are a few corporates. There is Reliance and Jindal and Tatas, but a couple of 2 crores, 5 crores into a federation means nothing.
Right.
The amount of money, say, Government of India spends on my athletes is like 20 crores a year, 25 crores a year. But that's on the athlete. That's on their food, their accommodation, their coaching. But where is the structure? How are you going to fight that? Where is that? That does not exist. That's the problem.
Right. Commodore Garg, you lead the Target Olympic podium scheme, and you're the CEO. You are backing athletes, you select athletes for the Olympic movement. Is there a vetting process? Ma'am just spoke about accountability and responsibility. How do you select those athletes? And because, we are a very result-oriented society as well. You don't remember anybody else, but apart from those who actually win medals, right? When there's a huge athletic movement going on in India. So how do you vet the athletes?
Right, thank you. That's an excellent question. You see, we have in the Target Olympic podium scheme, we have a team of about 20 research officers who are continuously tracking more than 3 to 4,000 athletes at any given time. And there is no application process as such to come into the Target Olympic podium scheme. It is the scheme which is selecting the athletes. So there are various factors, and also for the benefit of all the participants in this seminar, there are 2 levels of support which we are giving in the top scheme. One is we call them the core group athletes who are our medal prospects in the upcoming Olympics, like for 2024. And the second group is the development group, which is the target athletes for the 2028 and 2032 Olympics. So we are selecting a bench for 28 and 32 and giving them full support. And we are supporting those who are the core probables for the upcoming Olympics. As far as selection is concerned, what I just said, that we are continuously tracking athletes. There are various parameters on which we are doing this tracking. One is their performance, right from the junior level. Like we are tracking athletes from the age of 16, maybe 17. The moment any athlete comes at anywhere near an international, medal, we start tracking them immediately. Or even from once they are selected to represent India, and that athlete comes on the radar. Thereafter, the performance is monitored. Then we have some benchmarks. Benchmarks such as age-related performance benchmarks. So, for example, at the age of 18, a particular athlete, say, we have taken a size of, say, 5 Olympic performances and 5 World Championship performances, and seen that if anybody who's coming in top 8 at the age of 18, what was the performance that time? So age-wise, we have graphed them completely, and then we see where our athletes are on that graph. That is one thing. Third thing is, what is the inputs from the national sports federations? The subjective inputs from coaches. A coach's eye is very important, you know. Coaches see the athlete and they can make out that whether the athlete has got potential or not. So that is a very important factor. Then what is the training age of an athlete? Whether it is 5 years, 6 years, 8 years, that is an important factor. And then head to head we compare what the world level athletes are doing and what our athletes are doing. So all these 6, 7 factors are there which prompt us to decide that yes, this athlete has got a potential of qualifying for Olympics and coming in top 8 or a podium.
You know, I don't want to put you on the spot, and maybe it's blame it on Neeraj Chopra, who's raised the expectations, and he makes it look so easy that he just throws the javelin, raises his hands in the air, and we know that we've got a gold at the World Championships or at the Olympics. But how many medals are you expecting at Rio?
At Paris,
Yeah, sorry, Paris.
better than last time, I would say. Numbers are very difficult to, it's a sport. And in sport, anything can happen any day.
Sure.
Maybe Adil can.
You know, we have a serious problem here. Everybody wants to know medals, and I
Yeah.
don't think that's what we should look at. I think we need to look at development. How are you creating grassroots? What are you doing to create a bench strength? What is the process you're going to follow? I mean, I know what process we followed, and it took us 10 years to reach a Neeraj Chopra. But I think we asked the wrong questions. And unless we can put a process in place, we had a two-pronged strategy. What was that strategy? How did we work through it? The first few years, we got no result. We brought in foreign coaches, we brought in foreign masseurs, we foreign doctors, we brought in, Neeraj had 3 foreign coaches, including a world champion and a world record holder, a biomechanics expert. You create the ecosystem. You give him a masseur, you give him a doctor, you give him everything, and that's how you make a champion. So I think we're asking all the wrong questions. What are we asking? What are we investing in grassroots? I'd like to know. Even the top corporates are not investing, even if they want to sponsor Neeraj after he's won a medal. How much money are they putting in grassroots? Nothing. Zero. Absolute zero. I run the largest grassroots level program in the world where 1 million children take part from 600 districts. I can't find a sponsor. Just last, with the help of Sports Authority, we got REC, a public sector unit, to come and support us.
Right.
But for 17 years, we ran the program by ourselves. So I think we should stop asking that question, how many medals?
Yes, ma'am, you want to add something?
I would like to add to that. Similarly, Adil sir just said they don't ask about medals, ask us how many classifiers are there to classify different disability categories. Have we been able to create those classifiers? Because the first thing that happens in para sports is medical classification in which the athlete has to play. And India does not have a single IPC approved classifier, and we have one of the largest community in persons with disability who needs to play. Our percentage is largest in the world, and we don't have a single classifier. Then we want to talk about how many coaches seriously want to learn about para sports, because any coach can be a para sports coach, but are they really taking out time to learn about para sports? Are we having some incentives for these coaches? Because like you heard Madan Lal sir also say that how long will people work voluntarily? And other thing is definitely Target Olympic Podium Scheme has been a huge support. I myself was able to make a medal for my country only when I got the holistic support. But that's 40 children, 50 children, 50 athletes. What about the 15,000 para athletes who are waiting for the right prosthetic, who are waiting for a correct wheelchair, who are waiting for funds for their competition partner, because if a visually impaired athlete is playing, then they have to practice with a competition partner who needs equal amount of nutrition, equal amount of training, because they both have to run together. There are so many severely spinal cord injury athletes who have the potential to win a medal, but they need an attendant, they need a nurse for catheterization, they need a physio along with a fitness trainer. So we need to create a better infrastructure of more people involved, not just a physical infrastructure, but also a pool of lot many people to come together, and then we can make the sports grow.
So, Commodore Garg, do you think there's a need to shift from the bureaucratic regulation to a more entrepreneurial mindset that I'm hearing from Mr. Sumariwala as well, that,
I think it's a combination of various stakeholders. The government is maybe today in other sports, government is the major contributor, But today we have various contributors. There are NGOs like Olympic Gold Quest or Jindal Sports or Go Sports and many others, ELMS Foundation, etc. They are doing good work on ground with a lot of elite sports persons. So it's a combination. It's not that one person can come forward and do it. Your iOS itself is doing some remarkable work in sports. So it's just that everybody has to get together, put their best foot forward, and believe you me, the sports movement, what Mr. Madanlal said, is really growing. And what we are doing today will give results maybe in 2032. But we are doing a lot today. Khelo India scheme is doing 3,000 athletes are being trained in various academies all over the country, including the Sports Authority of India, which is training almost 3,000 in their own academies. So like that, whole lot of things are happening. The culture has to shift from for a athlete-centric, complete governance also athlete-centric.
Sure.
So that is
So
what
you
is
wanted to add,
changing.
yeah.
I just want to add to that. I think we're expecting too much from the government. I think the government is doing its job. Their job is to build infrastructure. I think to run the sport, private sector needs to pitch in, which has failed. So we keep wanting to go to the government and begging from the government. I don't think that's right. Government should just create infrastructure
Fair enough.
and give the governance
Right.
overall umbrella.
You want the private sector to step in, which is a fair request, but also sport to be an economic driver. Like we are all expecting by 2032, you said, some parameters for that, apart from just the private sector setting in, it has to be an entire ecosystem which is not dependent on anybody or any one particular player in particular, like the government or a private sector player.
See, all of you will agree with me with one thing. When you go to buy a house and you are looking for a society to buy a house, you definitely look, is there a swimming pool there? Bhai, swimming pool hai, courts hai, walking track hai. So right from the community, sport comes in. Parents look whether their children will be able to play something or not. So that culture is growing very fast in our country. So sports governance is also in 3 to 4 different sectors. Elite sports persons, okay, one side. Developing sports persons, one side. Community development, recreational also. So all of them, when they move together, the entire ecosystem grows and comes up.
With that ecosystem, do you think bidding for big sports events, like, hosting and bidding for big sports events, will that help us create that ecosystem that we are looking forward to? Like for all of you, like the Commonwealth Games we hosted, but it's been a while, right?
Yes,
And,
I
we
think the
did
more
see a lot of-
competitions that we have in our country, and we have international competition, the interest, because that is how the interest will grow. And we have seen tremendous response now. I think today's generation is ready to watch the sports. There has been a tremendous shift. And I want to use this platform to thank the government for declaring parasports as mainstream, for giving them that respect of being a mainstream sport. And from this platform, I want to make an appeal to the corporate sector, to the stakeholders, that We are not a charity sport. We are not a, a process of looking good and a tick on their diversity and inclusion segment of their particular corporate this thing. We definitely are doing well. We are giving happy moments to our country. We have shown our capability of winning medals, as you asked, medals.
Sure.
And let me assure you, even in the forthcoming Asian Para Games, we are definitely targeting more than 100 medals.
Wow.
And I am looking at least 25 to 30% coming from the women athletes. And if 2024 is looking good for us, 25 plus medals is what I'm looking at. I don't want to put numbers because I am superstitious about that. But definitely the focus is also to bring India, take the medals definitely in double digits, but bring India in a single digit position even globally in the world of sports.
I'm afraid we are completely out of time, but thank you so much for joining us at Times of India's Right to Excellence Sports Summit 2023. Can we have a huge round of applause for our
Thank you.
panelists,
Thank you.
please? Thank you.
Hi, may I please request all of you to stand by for a photo op, please?
Give me the mic. I really want to thank Preeti and Pavan. Thank you. They have just started Pro Panja League. The first edition was there, and the beauty of Pro Panja League was that it was inclusive. It was mandate to have physically challenged athletes playing in a team, and their marks and the points won by the persons with disability were part of the team marks. They were inclusive. So this is the kind of ecosystem we need. And thank you, Pavan, and thank you, Preeti, to even have physically challenged people in the mainstream in the first very edition. God bless you. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Sushant. While we're setting up for our next chat, how about I have a conversation with you guys? आपके और मेरा भी एक panel discussion चल रहा है. There's a mic there because we're all here people who love the sport, right? And in various capacities, and we have our own stories. So if I can pass the mic around, and if someone would like a story, share a story as to why you fell in love with sport, what is your favorite sport? What do you love about that sport? We'd love to hear that. Is there anyone? Oh. So I thought you raised your hand, so I was sending the mic to you. Is there anyone who'd like to share? Oh, there's sir's there.
Yeah, sorry, I missed that part. But I just heard the love for sport and I had to raise my hand.
हाँ जी, done. मैं मान ली आपकी बात. I just wanted to understand what made you fall in love with sport. Is there a sport in particular that you love, and what do you love about it? What's the feeling?
So, very important part here is that sports is not just one thing in your life. It's very integral part of your life. It's not an independent thing. I've been a sports person all my life. I've played Delhi State and all till school level. And something that I realized growing up in my college, that what pulled me through my education, was my involvement with the sports. The fact that I was always involved in sports made me better in studies as well. And that's something I carried forward. I imbibed that into my children. And in fact, I work with a lot of poor children at this point in time. I try to give support, we were just talking about support for kids, from government and from corporate. So we try to support a lot of these kids coming from underprivileged segment. With the whole thought being that if you have sports in your life becomes better by default. It changes your mindset, it changes your approach, it changes your understanding, it just changes your personality completely. So there's no life without sports. That's what I can say.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. May I know your name, please?
Tarun Valecha.
Tarun, thank you so much for sharing that story. Ma'am, you'd like to share a story as well.
I've also been a sports person all my life, from school days itself. And at that time, I used to visualize being a PT Usha. because I was very good in athletics that time. But somehow there was no guidance, no avenues that time. I'm talking of way back many, many years ago, almost 30, 35 years ago. So, I mean, even till about last 5 years, I was into sports. Then my best attraction was there's a stadium just next to my house. So that was very encouraging, and I started doing something more.
What's the name of the stadium, ma'am?
Noida Stadium.
Noida Stadium. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful stadium, ma'am.
Yes,
Good
it is a
facilities.
beautiful stadium, yeah.
थैंक यू सो मच फॉर शेयरिंग योर स्टोरी मैम मैं आपको एक कहानी बता दूं मैं पहले ही आपको मैंने दुखी दास्तान बता दी अपने घुटनों की एट द स्टार्ट ऑफ द शो माय पेरेंट्स कीप ऑन सेइंग पागल आदमी यू शुड हैव प्लेड चेस ऐसे फॉर चेस यू नीड ब्रेन्स सो इट डजंट गो हैंड इन हैंड बट थैंक यू सो मच फॉर दैट इज देयर एनीवन एल्स हु वुड लाइक टू शेयर इफ यू डोंट वांट टू शेयर व्हाट योर स्पोर्ट इज अ स्टोरी और समथिंग सर इज देयर प्लीज
So, like my fellow panelists have said, I'm also a very, very keen sports lover. Don't keep myself limited to any particular sport. Obviously, as an Indian, you would love to follow cricket and obviously go paint the town red with it. But my passion is anything that brings the competitiveness out of you. And I think that is a hallmark of each and every sport today. But yes, if you were to ask me one, I follow English Premier League, and that's soccer. So
which is your team sir
Manchester City.
oh matlab you can't lose only sir you can win that team
Well, that's the way it's been going, luckily, for last 3-4 years. And again, the importance of coaching in the sport cannot be undermined, right? And that's every example you look at where any team does well, there is always a coach who shows you the way and does that. So
thank you so much for sharing your story sir thank you so much for taking the mic and telling us is there anyone else okay the last gentleman at the back I see now more hands are coming up it's lovely to see that just one more person then we start our next panel discussion please raise your hand there's someone there at the back
My name is Group Captain Ashok. I'm a veteran,
sir thank you for coming
and I congratulate all of you for hosting this sporting event. Not in the sports ground, but in the ballroom of Eros. That's wonderful. I'm sure it's going to take the sports to a higher level. I'm a sportsman. I'm a senior citizen. Probably I don't look like one because
आप लगते नहीं sir बिल्कुल
this is because of sports. It changes. It's a part of life. I hail from a hinterland in Bihar and I play squash. And the reason I joined the forces, which a lot of people call me crazy, is because squash is a game which is always available in any of the military cantonments. And I continue to play that. And I'm sure everybody must be sporting in one way or the other. I have one suggestion. I hail from the villages. And today when I go back to the village, where I'm still connected to, there are lots of talent there, but then there's no one to look at them. There's nothing like infrastructure. They don't have even, probably they could have played kabaddi, which I was asking them, but that also probably is not there because things have changed. And millions of people, one way of getting more medals is to have more number of people into it. Look at tennis, look at squash. More number of people are there, better the quality is going to be, which is going to get you a medal, just not one Neeraj Chopra. So I think some focus is lying there at the grassroots as how do we go about it so that we produce international champions. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, sir. आपने initially बोला था कि this is happening in the ballroom and not on the field. अच्छा हुआ ballroom में हो रहा है सच सच के नहीं आ पाते वहाँ पे पसीने निकलते हैं हमारे भर भर के पर उसका अलग मजा है. It's time to get started with our next panel discussion, and this one will be shedding light on the economics of the sports industry. You heard it in brief in the panel discussion before this as well. I'll just give you a few numbers. Now, it's reported that the Indian sports industry grew 49% in the year 2022. That is huge, just huge. And while cricket is still the main driver, other sports are catching up. Not really catching up, but they're growing at their own speed. Sponsorship spends have crossed 5,000 crore. Now, just jog your memory back to 10 years back. 5,000 crore would seem like an unachievable number. Like 5,000 crore, that person would fall over there. कि ये sports में कैसे आ गया? I'll give you a small example. Now, the first edition of the women's IPL took place last year, and it managed making more than 200 crore in sponsorship. Small number when you compare it to 5,000 crore. But when you talk about women's sport, when you talk about it happening for the very first time, that is a huge number. And believe you me, by year 2, year 3, year 4, that growth is only going to go upwards and upwards. And it's never been so good in Indian sport. So kindly join me now in welcoming our panelists who know this business inside out. Mr. Sujoy Ganguly, Marketing Head, GMR. Nirav Tomar, Founder, iOS Sports. Divyanshu Singh, COO, JSW Sports. And Ms. Preeti Jhangiani, Owner, Pro Panja League. And to moderate this session, please welcome Mr. Anand Kanwar, Founder, Art Connect.
Thank you, Arjun. So this is such a fantastic panel. When we were planning for this, it's a great mix of cricketing, non-cricketing, Olympic, and a completely new league. So to welcome, I would like to start with Nirav Tomar, who's the founder and MD of iOS Sports, one of the oldest sports marketing agency in India, just 18 years young, but still a long way to go, and they're right there. Not only do they work with India's international athletes, but also have the faith and trust of federations, and most importantly, the Indian Olympic Association. Nirav, thank you for coming in today.
Thanks, man.
On his left is Divyanshu Singh, the Chief Operating Officer at JSW Sports. And he's not just a business guy, he's also a tennis player and an ex-tennis player at that. So his perspectives are not only of business, but also of someone who understands the sports in a very, very interesting manner. At JSW Sports, we all know about it, that JSW has been at the forefront of not only cricketing, but non-cricketing sports as well. So here we have football, and they are part of the Delhi Capitals team, Haryana Steelers, Pretoria Capitals, and they're operating not just in India, but abroad. Divyanshu, thank you so much for coming in today. Thank you. Sujoy Ganguly on the extreme right, a very old friend of mine, and his experience starts from golf all the way till now. He's been head of sponsorship and marketing for GMR League Games, and he's led sponsorship across golf, cricket, kabaddi, wrestling, kho-kho, both in India and globally. And that's a completely wide area of sports. Sujoy, thank you so much for joining us today. And a complete pleasure to introduce Preeti Jhangiani. We know her as an actor, producer, but more importantly today, she is here in the capacity of league owner of Pro Panja League. She spent a lot of time with the arm wrestling federations and grooming them from the grassroots level itself. So we'll talk about it later, but thank you so much, ma'am, for coming in today. So Nirav, to start with on this, I would want to talk to you on, for a sports marketing agency, a lot of focus goes on towards getting talent and working with talent, but you have the trust and faith of federations as well as the Indian Olympic Association. So how did that happen? And if you could talk about the 18 years that has taken in to repose the faith and the way that's come up to at this level.
Oh, it's been quite a journey. We set up iOS in 2005. There was no market that time. And whatever little bit was there was in cricket, commercial aspect of it. I think the Kickstarter was 2008 with Beijing Olympics and Abhinav Bindra's gold, Vijender Singh's bronze, Sushil Kumar's bronze, and we got 3 medals, and the whole country looked up to what we can do in Olympic sports. So I think that was the beginning, and we started our talent wing, and we were fortunate to have Vijender that time with us, and that followed with 6 more medals in London with Mary Kom and Yogeshwar being with us even in those times in Olympics. So I think 2012 was with 6 medals was a big moment for Olympic sports. And then 2016, we signed up with Indian Olympic Association. We saw a huge opportunity out there because nobody was looking at Olympic Federation that time. There was not a structure in place. only one sponsor was there. I think it was Samsung, which was just a global sponsorship deal, but they had done a regional deal. So, we got into the structure part, the image management part. We created these assets, which we could sell to sponsors and give them, ROI on that. So since 2016, we've been fortunate and, worked hard towards getting 25 odd brands now. And Indian Olympic Association having a commercial, since then about 200 odd crores has been brought in. That includes, also the deals in kind. So it's been quite a journey, but I think there has been significant growth every 5 years, what we saw. And Japan has been huge, and pandemic was a time where, when we all were in the houses, and then Japan was, well received in terms of television ratings. That was a big boost. And I think Indian sports, other than cricket, arrived in
So that was like
Japan.
a pivoting moment.
That was
Yeah.
a pivoting moment,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Completely right. And you see the opening ceremony and you see all these players and you say, okay, that's almost the entire roster of you guys right there. So great job, man. But coming on to when we were talking Olympics, Devanshu, you can't be far behind because right here we have Neeraj Chopra, and you do a lot of work. But here we will not talk about the Olympic gold that Neeraj has brought for the country, but essentially the work that has been done by JSW at developing the talent, maintaining it, and then marketing it at a level. So here, we'll come back to cricket later, but let's talk about this side of the business because that's sports at the largest level.
Thank you. I think our starting point in sport, of course, in 2012, at that point was that how is it that a corporate can make a big impact in Olympic sports? While Tokyo Olympics were India's most successful Olympics ever, but we are still not amongst the top 50 nations in the world. And you contrast that you are the 5th largest economy in the world, with the 3rd largest advertising market in the world. And I mean, while we talk about the size of the sport market, but it is still less than 10% of the advertising market. So what that does is that it, I think, opens the huge opportunity that all of us sitting here and the entire sport marketing community has in terms of how we can get more investment. Sometimes people make a lot of comparisons to cricket, but I think there's a lot to learn from cricket, and each sport has its own journey. Our focus on Olympic sports comes from the fact that all successful nations are built upon putting strong systems and processes. Yes, we are a hero worshipping country. We love our heroes, but today the likes of Neeraj Chopra don't need that support. It's the young 12, 15-year-olds. And that's what I also saw from my journey of being a professional athlete to a certain extent for a decade, that's where intervention of the corporate sector federations are required. And I think if you put those strong processes, systems, then we are seeing the results. Today, for the first time ever, you have a world champion in athletics, you have a world champion in chess, the badminton boys are in the top 5. So that movement is happening across sport, and it's extremely encouraging. So I think that's the role that we need to play. Put systems, put processes, and your result on the Olympic front is a direct correlation with investment. There's no secret sauce to this. All individual athletes who've kind of gone on to do well in India, credit to them with athletes like Vijender that they have reached that stage on the back of their individual grit and determination. But I think once the corporate sector starts providing that pathway, I think there's no reason for us to kind of start shining. The rate at which we churn MBAs and engineers, I think, is the rate at which we can also start producing sportsmen.
Completely, absolutely, man. It's such a interesting point. But Sujoy, coming on to you, you have experience across golf, but we'll not talk about the sports which are traditionally revenue churning sports. But even in terms of kabaddi, that's been a pretty interesting one for you. And you have 2 teams now, which is UP Yodhas and the Telugu Titans. Plus, there's a sizable investment that's gone on to Kho. So how do you see that transaction? When you started, did you see that it would come on to this level and that kind of money would be coming in? Is it easier now in terms of getting the monies in?
Very interesting question. I think the way we looked at it is the whole group, the GMR. We were very keen to invest in Indian sport. We always believed that kabaddi was very, very popular that time, as popular as it is right now. But I think they lacked the platform. I think Pro Kabaddi League gave that. But for us, it was very important to invest in the indigenous sport. While cricket, we all know, but kabaddi, when we invested in it, we didn't know that's going to make profit. Not that we are making profit, but it is, of course, in the right path. But it's very important that you just don't look at the 3 months of the league, but you have to look at the other dimension of the sport. One, to have the facilities for the young talent. Once you look at a talent, then what you do with the talent? Where do you bring that talent? How do you unlock his potential? We run one of the finest kabaddi academies in the country, or maybe globally, which houses over 100 students. It's in Merit. Objective, we have our robust, kind of coaching and alliances where we get the talent to the academy and give them the wholehearted opportunity to perform. And they don't need to look or, wait or, even think of, how will they get their food the next day. So, the objectives has to be very, very clear when you get into the sports. I think if you do right, kind of processes like Divyanshu said, I think everything else would follow. Something that we all learn from cricket. So yes.
Completely. Now, talking about indigenous sports and new sports, Preeti, this goes out straight up to you. Having such a successful career between you and Praveen being in the limelight, how did you come about creating Bharat Ka Apna Khel, which is an arm wrestling federation and the arm wrestling scene, but more importantly, establishing that to a large extent? So how did that come?
I think at some point, Anand, you almost answered your question. We feel that Panja or arm wrestling, the sport of arm wrestling, firstly, has an intrinsic connect to India because it has an Indian name, Panja. I think a lot of people didn't know that the amateur scene in India was very large and it had been going on for many, many years. We have athletes from every part of the country, right from Kerala, Haryana, Punjab, Gwalior, Ahmedabad, Gujarat. We have athletes even from Assam, from the Northeast, Meghalaya, all over the country. And people were not aware of this. When we decided to get into the promotion of sport, I think the first thing we were quite sure about is that we want to get into a sport from which us coming in would make a difference. A lot of sports already have a lot of support, but us coming in, we wanted to come into a sport where we could come in and make a difference, and Panja was exactly that. All these athletes playing for so many years, but what they didn't have was the recognition and the stage. And that is what the Pro Panja League aimed to provide for them. I think when you sit and watch a Panja match, that's when you can actually see the kids, the children, the ladies, the women, the men coming out and sitting there and loving the sport. Why? Because it is a very aggressive sport, but it's not uncomfortable to watch, which is why I feel a lot of the Indian audiences shy away from a lot of sports which are uncomfortable to watch. But this is a very thrilling and an exciting game, which you can sit and watch. It's like a family viewing sport. And which is why we felt that Panja has the potential to take over the Indian market completely. Not just the Indian market. I may be speaking a little extra than what I should, but I do feel that we have now made the world sit up and take notice. We were just there for the World Arm Wrestling Championships where we took Team India. Everybody there was talking about what you've done with the Pro Panja League. Wow, what have you done with the, the production level? So the idea was to take the sport out, was not give it an image of a small sport or a sport. It was the idea was to take the sport out of bars and clubs where it's usually played. And we took a lot of we took some inspiration from darts. We did a lot of research into darts and how darts was made into such a popular sport. It has a very high revenue grossing sport. So we took inspiration from that as well. We didn't pick up sport casually, as somebody would think. We've, before coming to the league market or coming to broadcast, we've done a lot of research into the sport. It's been 5-6 years where we've thought a lot about the sport. We've done a lot of events all over India. And only then I thought a lot about how to bring this sport to broadcast. How is it that the Indian viewer will consume the sport? How is it that they will be excited about the sport? How will they like to watch it? Because as everybody knows, we had a lot of naysayers. And we will speak about that soon. So we felt, to answer your question in short, we felt there's a lot of potential in this sport. And I think we were not wrong, because we shocked a lot of
Completely,
people
yeah.
with our views on Sony Sports. We were on just one channel, Sony Sports 10.3. And we have had 32 million unique viewers.
Wow, that's for year
Which
one.
is what-
That's
what
for year one, edition one.
Shocked a lot of people, including our broadcast partners, whom I'd like to thank very much for the faith, the support, the trust, and for standing beside us, along with all the, to show everybody else. They were also responsible and answerable to their heads, but they took a chance on the sport, on a new sport. And like everybody here is saying, the sporting industry does need a lot more sport and a lot more support for indigenous sports like the Pro Pancha League.
Thank you, thank you. But there's a common theme that just, wound up saying, we're talking about grassroots at a very important level. Indigenous becomes one side of the business. But here and this has been on my mind for quite some time, the kind of investment that goes into developing grassroots, okay. Do you think that, and Joy and Divyanshu, this really goes on to you, and after that, ma'am, is how do you recover that kind of money? And can we make like a real business sense out of it?
What we have learned is that when it comes to investing in grassroots, I think there's a great opportunity which has opened, because India is one of the few countries where spending on CSR is mandatory. And when they regularize spending in grassroots sport, it actually opened the doors for funds to start growing, because otherwise it becomes difficult for a lot of brand custodians and corporates to justify. Yes, some people will be passionate, but they are a select few. But if you genuinely want to get investment towards development, CSR is the route. Unfortunately, as of this year, only 1%, less than 1% of the total CSR spends are going towards sport. That is the huge opportunity in terms of getting more corporates to kind of start supporting the heroes of tomorrow.
And Sujoy, GMR has been at such a, you also have talked about the Kabaddi grassroots level that's there. So comparing it to a cricket and what you see now, is there money that's already started coming in? At least, is there an inflow right now on that?
Yes, as I said that, cricket has contributed immensely to the sporting industry in the country. And, one has to understand at what level we are in each of the leagues, or we are investing the grassroots, and what kind of returns that we are looking at. Objective is very, very clear that, you have to do the right processes, right things. And of course, it may be a little more challenging currently, but you take example of what Divyanshu was saying, that, suddenly in last 4-5 years, I think the whole lookout towards the athlete development has a very different kind of a, lens. If you look at the initiative that government is taking now, the Khelo India, it has contributed immensely. Okay, and it basically, it's a, sports plays, it plays in the area of intangibles. So you need to be patient. It is challenging for the emerging sports initially, but the returns are there. And one of the best example that we all can look at and we all are proud of is the Pro Kabaddi League. The first 8 franchises, I think, are making profits. The other 4 who invested later are in the right path. And, most of the franchises are investing back to the ecosystem. This, in many ways, you will see the fruits in next 4 to 5 years.
And Nirav, here, there is obviously the corporate world has already spent money in and started coming in. And we've earlier seen that a lot of individual sports started getting medal. In fact, even a lot of your talent that's coming in. But do you see the teams also getting in into that kind of revenue coming in, be it other sports like hockey and football, and on a national level, on a national team-based sports?
Yeah, definitely. I think, again, 10 years back, we didn't have much takers. And now, if you look at it, athletics has got sponsors, football, of course, has got Reliance backing. JSW has been, investing even at a CSR level to federations. And I think there is a genuine return on investment. If a brand comes up and invests now in a federation, they will get the eyeballs, they will get value, and, they will get return on investment, I think.
So whenever we talk sports and money together, we can't leave cricket behind. So there's always the regular complaint with sports saying there is no money left for other sports. So do you think that cricket has really, that's really open for everyone, that cricket has really taken the money, or has it given something to India in that sense? Really?
I think it's given, because 2008 IPL was, food for thought for everyone to start leagues. And these leagues have, some have done well and some have, of course, not done well. But other sports, federations, got that boost from IPL, where they could design different leagues and commercialize also. Before that, it was just pure vanilla, in terms of endorsements or sponsorship, just cricket things in the 90s, and then, hardly any companies out there. I think now there are more than 500 odd sports management companies in the country. Back in the days, there were like 4 or 5.
Yeah, completely. And between you guys, between the ventures, you guys handle not only cricket, but a lot of others. So do you think that when you guys are out in the market selling, you say, okay, take Delhi Capitals, I say Delhi Capitals ke liye nahi, okay, I'll sell you Steelers. Put money there. Do you do that?
I think, yeah, I mean, a lot of the times we are talking to similar audiences and similar advertisers. And yeah, there is, I think, growing demand. There's a space for every sport. I will not frame it that cricket is capturing the market. Yes, it is still a huge, like close to 90% of our total sports market is dominated. But I think other sports are establishing their footprint very well. A lot of them, I think, tried to copy the IPL formula, which doesn't work. I think every sport has its own unique journey, the way you are trying to do it with Pro Panja. And I think that's really unique, and we are on the right track, I feel.
So,
absolutely, an interesting question. So, currently we are on the media spend for the sports is around $1.5 billion, where the country stands today. Out of which, if you look at around 80% goes to the cricket. On a percentage wise, if you look at the growth of the emerging sports, okay, it has doubled from past 2 years. So, which is a very, very good sign. I think, as we were talking, I think a little earlier, it's a country of leagues. But out of all the leagues, 16 leagues are for cricket, and the 12 plus leagues are towards the emerging sport. So I think it's very good. I think what is very important is that one needs to be, you don't need to be on the map. You can also focus on the region. Okay, at times those kind of focus and objectives would work much better rather than just taking the most successful league, which is IPL, and trying to replicate it. So it's important, but it's definitely growing in a much larger way than what it was earlier.
I completely agree. I don't think you can replicate, copy any other sport, because every sport is very, very unique. And especially talking about broadcast, one must know one's audience, and you must know where you're aiming the sport. And especially with the Pro Panja League, season 1, I mean, we're talking about the business of sport. Season 1 was not about revenue for us. We knew that season 1 and maybe even season 2 is about the eyeballs for us. How do we get people to know the technicalities and how much goes into the sport? We got a lot of people saying that, is Panja even a sport? The kind of the technicalities, the expertise that goes into, the kind of training that the athletes do, everything we had to bring out there. Their stories, They're all our athletes are all sons and daughters of the soil.
I was coming to that because Pro Punjab League is inclusive. You have women and men's
we have,
team both.
yes, we have male, female, and specially abled all
Yes.
on the same stage.
And they were
This is something that we were very sure about from the start. Very few leagues do this, and we wanted to make sure that we do this. We include male, female, and specially able. So all three get equal opportunities in every way, whether it's prize money, whether it's financial support, etc., or salaries. So the top seed, male, female, and or specially able will get the same
wow.
opportunity.
So that's inclusivity also. That's you built.
Definitely. We were very honored to have Ma'am Deepa also at the league, and thank you very much for your support as well for the league. So. That is so nice to hear and so heartening to hear. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And here, one part that comes in is we were talking about hero worshipping earlier. So, and we've seen that with the new players that are coming in. You see a lot of money also coming in with the players who are becoming brands in their own sense, or at times becoming, I've seen you spending a lot of time and effort on social media, developing your players as talent themselves. So is there a lot of money there? And do you think that's bigger money that way and a lot of focus that side?
I can speak about what we think.
Everyone has been doing it, but you started the league with a lot of focus, saying teams are also part of it, but individual like Cummings and Dara and other guys.
We genuinely believe that for the sport to become popular, the sportsmen, we have to make stars out of the sportsman. If the sportsman becomes, it's a sportsman and his ability and his story and him that needs to be out there. It needs to be his face on the poster, not anybody else. It needs to be the sportsman who's out there, and that's what we're trying to do from the beginning, is bring their stories out there, their struggles out there, and how hard they work at the sport and how many years they've been working at the sport. So we've been trying to do that from the beginning, make our sportsmen come out there and bring their personalities out there on the stage as well for everybody to see.
And Nirav, here, your talent management company focuses on individual athletes as a thing. So you invest a lot on their image as well to build their thing. I think just closing remarks, because I just see 00 coming in on the screen there.
Yeah, I mean, from image management to all their commercial aspect is looked after.
Because those are investments that you put in. There's no direct result maybe that can come out of it, but you see a good ROI on that coming in, developing the individual brand as well.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we sign them up and, of course, it is correlated to their performance on field. And once they do that, and, even especially the Olympic medalists, they become overnight stars, and brands are willing to come forward now, eventually,
yes.
to invest over there. And they're getting great returns because this is an uncluttered space. Cricket and Bollywood is cluttered. I mean, if you look at a IPL, there are 500 brands out there. I mean, who can have a recall over there? But here, if you pick up a non-cricket, non-Bollywood sports star here, I think you get a complete, clear recall, with a great ROI, and it's cost effective.
And with new forms of media, the dissemination has also become that much easier.
Yeah, and new forms, of course, because it's changed the entire landscape. I think 10 years back again, we just had the old school kind of endorsements and appearances. That's about it. It's just the technology, the social media, which has completely changed now. We do daily deals in terms of digital appearances and influencer activities. So does, I think, JSW in the talent wing. I think Divyanshu can also comment on that.
No, I just wanted to add, because of course Olympic sports is also our biggest passion. And the reason why I think we have so much love for them, and unlike, and this is nothing, unlike a lot of the other counterparts in Bollywood, in cricket, who might be more commercially more viable, but I think the authenticity, their genuineness, the fact that the kind of humble backgrounds that they come from, and look at the way they also carry themselves, right? Cricketers and a lot of entertainment personalities they're still doing ads of pan masala, alcohol, but Olympic athletes stand up for it. I have seen it. They say, no, it matters to me what my mom will think back home, what will they back home. Like, I have seen that personally with Neeraj, that he's refused alcohol surrogates. He doesn't want to do rummy culture. He, sorry to say, but like doesn't want to do all of this. And that kind of really talks that he cares about being a hero. And which is the reason why I feel that, yes, these are the genuine heroes of the nation who deserves the best.
Fantastic, man. I just hope a lot more money. Yes, please.
To all three of you, because Preeti has done her bit. I just want to know, has the narrative changed? Have the para athletes turned into stars in your narrative of commercial benefits or sponsorship perspectives? Because we have a Sumit Antil who's not only a gold medalist javelin thrower, but he's also a world record holder who in his one event has created 3 new world records. We have a Pramod Bhagat from para badminton who is world number 1. We have Avni Lekhara who is world number 1, and we have the parachuting team which is currently world number 1. So we have high jumpers who have beaten United States and many other countries. So are you prioritizing in your agenda even making para athletes into stars? How many are you managing? What is the percentage that you have outlined for para sports and the Paralympic movement as the stakeholders of sports? Because in the whole conversation, I did not hear even one para athlete's name or any one para sports. And that goes to you also, sir, because we need a lot of hand holding here.
No, so I think you know about this. We manage a few of them, and Sumit is one of them. And then we tried very hard after the Paralympics, to commercialize and basically build their image, and we did a lot of PR around them. But it's a tough sell currently, and to be honest. Yeah, of course. Yes, absolutely. But I think there are a few takers, and they will come up because they're like hugely inspiring stories. Sure, we're going to work on it. Yes, absolutely. We have to work on it.
Can I say something on this? I think the genuine reality is that there is absolute lack of education and awareness about what is the insanely positive impact of Paralympic sports. I think it has to start with that education. Yes. Yes, no excuses. But I'm just sharing that from my experience, that my mind opened to Paralympic sports after watching a documentary on Netflix, because I've not seen it personally in my life. And then the impact of that what it means to these people, what's the kind of hope that it gives, and it inspires a nation. I think there is absolute lack of awareness in the media, in the corporate world, and unfortunately, funding in sport follows a vicious cycle. It is driven by viewership, then the advertising money. So to change that, we'll really kind of need that.
So I think
push.
investments that can come in. I think it's pure investment driven in that sense, saying that an effort would start somewhere.
It's the media also, I think, which has to build their images further. They have to take much more.
But Neelam,
involvement.
I see a lot of positive things here coming in, saying before this, the dialogue won't have been possible. So today we are having this dialogue. Okay, there are people who are looking at getting them as, maybe we may not get an ad for them, but we may definitely get them as motivational speakers because they are so known in the industry. So their journey becomes that much more relatable and that much more stronger. In fact, I was at Pro Panja and some of the special athletes that were there, they could, take off an arm of one of the regular guy, man, completely. They were so strong. But I think, ma'am, now the conversations have started, and the media has started doing it to that level. But it will take time, but I'm sure that the path is right and the trajectory is really high on that level. So I've already started getting dirty looks from the corner of the stage. So I would like to thank you, my panel here. Thank you so much for these wonderful insights. These guys are available for conversations after this if you have any pointers, but we would like to wrap it up here, and thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much, Anand. You were wonderful. Thank you. Thank you to everyone on the panel. Thanks.
Thank you. Could I please ask all of you to get together for a photo op, please? Thank you so much for that. I've known Neerav from college. We were in the same college. So I think I can say it. भाई आपने मीडिया पे अच्छा तीर मार दिया वहाँ पे मैंने देखा. Huh? That was a good one. Right. So we moved on now. That's the end of our second panel discussion. It's now time for our first fireside chat. Now, this fireside chat, we have 3 of them lined up for you. And it's basically top achievers, sporting achievers, sharing their stories, sharing what worked for them, sharing the lessons they've taken from their failures. And the person I'm going to introduce now is nothing less than a superstar, absolute superstar. The first Indian boxer to win an Olympic medal, a bronze medal at the World Championships, and a gold at the 2010 Commonwealth Games. And I haven't even started on his pro record. 13 wins in 14 fights, 9 of them coming courtesy knockout. Whoever's doing that interview with Vijinder, you better ask the right questions because knockout number 10 can happen very quickly. Please put your hands together for the one and only Vijinder Singh. And having the chat with him will be Sushant Mehta, CEO of Sports Yari.
थोड़ी तेज ताली बजानी पड़ेगी ओलंपिक मेडलिस्ट हैं और जबरदस्त तरीके से अपलॉड करिए आप विजेंद्र सिंह आप राइट प्लीज सर ऑलराइट तो we will try to decipher the man behind Vijinder Singh, how he thinks, कैसे जो achieve किया वो क्या achieve किया. So if I can start from really basic, obviously training was very, very important, but you come across as an individual who's mentally very tough. आज भी इतनी सारी चीजें कर रहे हैं जैसे कि फिल्म करी आपने सलमान के साथ, पॉलिटिक्स कर रहे हैं आप, प्रो बॉक्सर आप हैं, ओलंपिक मेडलिस्ट आप हैं, बट ये शुरू से ही did it happen naturally or you were mentally very tough?
नमस्ते, राम राम, सत श्री अकाल. मैं करता नहीं हो जाती हैं because I never think कि like इसका क्या होगा, इसको कैसे करेंगे. जैसे मूवीज हैं तो पहली मूवी की थी मैंने अक्षय कुमार का, मेरे पास फोन आता है कि अपन मूवी करते हैं, लेट्स डू दैट, व्हाई नॉट. अभी जो दूसरी मूवी की थी सलमान भाई का फोन आता है, अपन मूवी करते हैं, मैं यूके में ट्रेनिंग कर रहा था, मैं चलो मूवी करते हैं, व्हाई नॉट. और ऐसे ही फिर मैं पॉलिटिक्स में आया था, मैं एलए में फाइट कर रहा था, मेरे को बहुत बड़ी चोट लगी यहाँ पे एल्बो से, इट्स लाइक 6 स्टिचेस ऑन माय लेफ्ट आईब्रो. और फिर यहाँ आते तो कहते इलेक्शन लड़ लो, मैं कहा लड़ लें, क्या बात होगी. तो आई नेवर थिंक कि लाइक क्या होगा, बिकॉज आई ऑलवेज बिलीव इन वन थिंग कि लाइफ इज वेरी शॉर्ट, डू अ लॉट ऑफ वियर्ड थिंग्स. डोंट थिंक कि इसका ये परिणाम होगा, इसका ऐसा होगा. नो, डू इट. Why say no to anything? Just do it ना, उसके बाद देखेंगे अपन.
अच्छा, मैं आऊंगा किसी का भाई किसी की जान आपकी एक्टिंग करियर पे भी, पॉलिटिक्स पे भी, लेकिन शुरुआत जैसे बॉक्सिंग से करी. उस टाइम पे जब आपने मेडल जीता था, यू द फर्स्ट बॉक्सर टू एक्चुअली क्रैक इट एंड विन अ मेडल एट द ओलंपिक्स. और मैं देखा था उस टाइम पे बहुत सारी बॉक्सिंग, जैसे अखिल कुमार वाज ब्रिलियंट, लेकिन उनको मेडल मिला नहीं, जीत नहीं पाए, लेकिन बड़े जबरदस्त बॉक्सर थे वो भी. लेकिन मैं आपसे ये पूछ रहा हूँ, वो मूवमेंट के बारे में बताइए कि उस टाइम तो Did you ever think कि हाँ भाई ओलंपिक जीतना है, या सिर्फ उस टाइम लगे हुए थे प्रोसेस में? कैसे शुरुआत हुई थी?
बिकॉज मैं 2004 का ओलंपिक खेल चुका था उससे पहले एथेंस का, और उस टाइम मेरी उम्र होगी तकरीबन 18 साल का था मैं. तो एक ड्रीम होता है ना कि लाइक जब उस टाइम पे हमारा राज्यवर्धन राठौड़ जी सिल्वर मेडल लेके आए थे, और जब मैं उनसे मुलाकात हुई, मेरे देखा तो मैंने घर पे फ़ोन किया कि मैं क्या एक मेडल आया, हमारा सिल्वर मेडल आया है. तब सब ने पूछा कि यार उसकी तो हर जगह पे फोटो वोटो सब, ही वाज एवरीवेयर इन द मीडिया. और तब एक ड्रीम एक शुरू होता है कि लाइक नहीं यार, ओलंपिक में पहुंचना तो और भी बहुत सारे 100-200 एथलीट और हैं हमारे, वो भी पहुंच जाते हैं, लेकिन जो मेडल लेके आता है उसकी रिस्पेक्ट ज़्यादा होती है. और फिर कहते हैं कि वो ड्रीम जब देखते हैं आप, जो ओलंपिक मेडल लेके आता है उसको देखते हैं, उससे हाथ मिलाते हैं, तो बहुत सारी चीज़ें यार मैं भी बन सकता हूँ. तो एक और वो होता है कि जुनून शुरू होता है. फिर देन यू विजुलाइज इट इन योर माइंड कि लाइक नहीं यार, मैं ये कर सकता तो मैं भी कर सकता हूँ. तो फिर देन हाउ यू धीरे धीरे फिर रास्ते बनते जाते हैं बहुत सारे. और एशियन गेम्स, कॉमनवेल्थ गेम्स, फिर आदमी सोचता है कि नहीं यार ओलंपिक्स तो जीतना पड़ेगा. फिर लोग भी
ताना मारना शुरू करते हैं और बाकी सब तो जीते हैं, व्हाट अबाउट ओलंपिक्स? तो फिर उसके लिए फिर प्रिपरेशन शुरू हो जाती है।
तो 2004 से 2008 तक एथेंस आपने
Yeah.
लड़ा, वो 4 साल की मेहनत का मुझे जानना है कि क्या ट्रेनिंग होती थी रोज, कितनी मशक्कत होती थी लिटरली, मतलब सुबह से उठ
नहीं,
के
तब
ट्रेनिंग।
18 साल में वो इतना नहीं होता है। नोबडी थिंक लाइक दैट कि लाइक मैं आई वांट टू बी विन द ओलंपिक मेडल। नहीं, ये शुरू हुआ जब 2006 का एशियन गेम्स मेडल था मेरा, दैट वाज इन कतर। और मैं ओलंपिक चैंपियन से बिल्कुल लाइक 3-4 पॉइंट से लूज किया था। आई गॉट द ब्रॉन्ज मेडल देयर। और फिर मैंने 1 महीने बाद उस लड़के को, ओलंपिक चैंपियन को, मैंने चाइना ताइपी में मैंने हराया था उसको। तो फिर एक ड्रीम आता है कि यार लाइक ओलंपिक चैंपियन को आप बीट कर सकते हो तो देन व्हाई नॉट, आप ओलंपिक मेडल भी जीत सकते हो। और फिर क्वालिफाई करना मेरे लिए बहुत मुश्किल था उस दौरान, बिकॉज जो हमारा पहला क्वालिफाई था वो था इसमें यूएस में, शिकागो में था। और वहाँ पे सिर्फ एक क्वालिफाई हुआ था हमारा लड़का। और उसके बाद जो दूसरा क्वालिफाई था वो थाईलैंड में था, वहाँ भी 2 लड़के क्वालिफाई हुए थे। तो जो थर्ड क्वालिफाई था, लास्ट चांस बचा था मेरे लिए। तो लोग तो कह रहे थे कि ओलंपिक मेडल जीत के लेके आएगा, लेकिन क्वालिफाई करना मेरे लिए बहुत मुश्किल था उस टाइम पे। और कजाकिस्तान में मैंने क्वालिफाई किया। और फिर वो कहते परफॉर्मेंस वो ऐसी थी ना, फिर वो ऐसी चलती गई। और फाइनली 2008 में कहते कि हम मेडल जीत गए। तो लेकिन जो बीच का जो पार्ट था ना, बहुत मुश्किल था। ऑफ कोर्स बहुत सारी चीजें थी, और जब परफॉर्मेंस नहीं आती तो आप हर तरफ जाते हैं, चाहे वो कुछ भी हो, XYZ, सब तरह की आप कोशिश करते हैं कि नहीं यार क्या हो क्या रहा है फाइनली। और आई स्टिल रिमेम्बर दैट जब एक बार उसकी बात थी, हम पंजाब में ट्रेनिंग करता था मैं संगरूर में, तो वहाँ पे स्पारिंग सेशन थे, तो बहुत मार पड़ी मेरे को। तो कभी यहाँ से कभी वहाँ, बहुत पंच पड़े, बहुत जबरदस्त मार पड़ी थी। और फिर मैं गुरुद्वारा में जाके बैठ जाता हूँ, मैं कहा यार आ देख, मैं देख कितनी मार पड़ी है, इतना पूरा सूज रखा था फेस वेस। तो मैं क्या यार फिर ओलंपिक मेडल कैसे आएगा? मैं कहा बाबा जी करो कुछ, मैं कहा ऐसे थोड़ी ना होता है यार। तो देन अपने दिल की भड़ास निकालते हैं आप जब, राइट, जब व्हेन यू आर अलोन, तो तब वो बात की। लेकिन वो सब बात में फिर यादें रह जाती हैं। और तो फिर फाइनली 2008 तक हमारा, लेकिन जो 5 से लेके जो 7 तक का जो साल थे बहुत मुश्किल थे।
अच्छा, मैं जब भी बॉक्सिंग देखता हूँ और आपका जो बाउट चल रहा था जिसमें एक्चुअली, क्योंकि मेडल कंफर्म हो जाना था, जो आपका बाउट था ब्रॉन्ज तो कंफर्म हो जाता है जीत कर एक राउंड के बाद, तो वो सब पूरा हिंदुस्तान देख रहा है, एंड यू वर गोइंग इनटू द बाउट बट यू लुक्ड सो रिलैक्स्ड एंड यू आर मूविंग सो फाइन, और बहुत कॉन्फिडेंस आ रहा था कि नहीं यार आ गया मेडल, आ गया, अब तो 100% आ गया। वो बाउट के बारे में बताइए, बिकॉज यू वर टोटली एट द टॉप ऑफ योर गेम।
सेमीफाइनल या क्वार्टर फाइनल?
जिसमें क्योंकि ब्रॉन्ज कंफर्म हो जाता है ना,
कंफर्म हो जाता कि सेमीफाइनल थी ना, तब तो डीएसपी बन चुके थे हमारे हरियाणा पुलिस में यार। एक हम सिपाही के लिए भर्ती होने के लिए जा रखे थे, वो सिपाही की भर्ती नहीं होती थी, अब जाके डीएसपी मिल गया आपको, 3 स्टार ऊपर से और नीली डोरी, तो इट्स अ बिग थिंग। तो यू आर मोर रिलैक्स दैट टाइम। बट हमने गलती की, हम बिकॉज आई एम वेरी फोकस्ड दैट टाइम, आई स्टिल रिमेंबर। लेकिन आई वेंट टू मीडिया आफ्टर दैट, आई विन द फाइट ना, क्वार्टर फाइनल वाइज। उसके बाद तो फोन पे फोन, मीडिया में इधर इधर सब जगह। तो आई ऑलवेज टेल द किड्स कि जब तक आप कंपटीशन में हो, किसी भी कंपटीशन में हो, तो डोंट लूज योर फोकस। वो गलती हो गई हमारी। और मैं बच्चों को बताता हूँ कि यार ऐसे कभी मत करना, तुम्हारा मेडल आ गया ठीक है, व्हाट अबाउट द नेक्स्ट वन, सेमीफाइनल भी तो खेलना है, फाइनल भी तो खेलना है। तो लेकिन हमसे गलती होगी, हम मीडिया में चले गए उस टाइम पे, और सब जगह पे वो लाइव इंटरव्यूज
तो आपको लगता है जो क्यूबन बॉक्सर के साथ सेमीफाइनल हुआ उससे वो बेटर
आई
आपको
कैन
परफॉर्म?
मैं 3 पॉइंट्स लूज किया था उससे, बट आई थिंक आई कैन डू बेटर देन दैट। उससे और भी अच्छा कर सकता, और भी हरा सकता था उसको, बट इट्स ऑल टाइम, अभी हो गया ठीक है।
ठीक है, अब प्रो बॉक्सिंग वो कितना डिफरेंट है, बिकॉज दैट्स एमेचर बॉक्सिंग, यहाँ पे प्रो बॉक्सिंग में, एंड एज वी जस्ट हर्ड 13 बाउट्स आप जीत चुके हैं ऑलरेडी 14 में से, दैट्स अ कंप्लीटली डिफरेंट बॉल गेम।
ये प्रो बॉक्सिंग जब एक वो थी हमारी मैनी पॉकिया नहीं इसकी हुई थी फ्लोइड और उसकी मैनी पॉकिया दैट वाज इन 2015 तो नीरव और हमने कॉफी पी थी बैठ के दिल्ली में और नीरव जो अभी अभी थोड़ी देर पहले आपसे मुलाकात हुई थी इनकी तो हम दोनों एक साथ काफी सालों से 2005 से 10-15 सालों से हम साथ में हैं तो अपन प्रो बॉक्सिंग करते हैं मैं लेट्स डू दैट और फिर हम लोग यूके जाते हैं वहाँ ट्रेनिंग करते हैं और प्रो बॉक्सिंग देखते हैं कैसी होती है इट्स द सेम बॉक्सिंग यू नो पंच मारने बट उसमें वो ग्लव्स का साइज थोड़ा छोटा हो जाता है बहुत मार पड़ती है उसमें और मैं कहा लेट्स डू दैट यार तो क्या हो गया मैं कहा इट्स ऑल राइट और फिर बहुत सारी कंट्रोवर्सी भी हुई थी उस टाइम पे नीरव और हमने कि ये छोड़ दिया वो छोड़ दिया बट इट्स बॉक्सिंग प्रोफेशनल बॉक्सिंग इट्स ऑल अबाउट बॉक्सिंग दैट्स इट इसमें 10 राउंड इसमें 3 राउंड होते हैं और प्रोफेशनल बॉक्सिंग में आप 12 राउंड तक जाते हैं लेकिन मैं 10 राउंड तक अभी गया हूँ और जब आप वर्ल्ड टाइटल के लिए फाइट करते हैं तब 12 राउंड की फाइट होती है और द सेम भैया मार इसमें ज्यादा पड़ती है प्रोफेशनल बॉक्सिंग में टूट गया नाक वाक अभी टूटा रिसेंटली 2-3 फाइट पहले तो इट्स ऑल अबाउट मार खाओ और मारो जल्दी दैट्स इट
कीप इट वेरी सिंपल मार खाओ और मारो अच्छा we've heard about the greatest boxers आपके फेवरेट बॉक्सर्स कौन रहे हैं जैसे हमने ऑब्वियसली जो फेमस है माइक टाइसन शुगर रे लेनर्ड यू नो अगर मोहम्मद अली की बात करें अभी मेवेदर और पैक्याओ अब ये बहुत हीटेड डिबेट चलता था क्योंकि प्राइम में तो उन्होंने फाइट करा नहीं आपका ज्यादा फेवरेट कौन है मेवेदर या पैक्याओ स्टाइल्स के हिसाब से
आई थिंक मैं दोनों को ऊपर रखूंगा बिकॉज फ्लोइड है उसने सिखाया कि जो एथलीट है स्पेशली हाउ टू मेक मनी you know it's money weather अपने आप को बोलता है and I went to US to see his fight जो मैकग्रेगर की और उसकी जो फाइट दोनों की I met him in his gym and he just simply tell me like bro just earn money that's it it's all about money that's it तो वो बड़ी अच्छी बात लगी उसकी मैं कहा यार बात तो सही है इसकी इतने पंच खाते हो इतनी मार खाते हो किस लिए आप तो ऐसे थोड़ी ना होता है कि like that's a good thing और मैनी because he's a good fighter oh nobody can beat him he's one of the best one he's the one of the best one जो उसका फुटवर्क है it's amazing लोगों को टेक्निकल चीजें समझ नहीं आती लेकिन I'm a boxer तो I know that कि like क्या बंदा है तो nobody can like touch him I think 4 या 5 वेट कैटेगरीज में वर्ल्ड चैंपियन है he's one of the best boxer yeah
अच्छा आपने बोला कि you know फ्लॉयड मेवेदर ने बताया कि just make money you know as an athlete because you are taking the risks you are taking the beating for Indian athletes बहुत चेंज हो जाती है लाइफ जैसा मेडल मिल गया बस उसके बाद तो कुछ देखना ही नहीं पीछे नहीं देखना लेकिन कितने सारे हैं लाइक अगर आप हंड्रेड्स में से देखो तो 1 या 2 को मेडल मिलता है राइट वो बाकी के जो 98 99 रह जाते हैं ना नाम मिलता है ना शोहरत मिलती है ना पैसा मिलता है आपको लगता है कि ये सिस्टम चेंज होना चाहिए कि कुछ सिस्टम मिलना चाहिए कि यार सिर्फ मेडल पे डिपेंडेंट नहीं रहना चाहिए जो इंसान मेहनत कर रहा है उसको उस हिसाब से मिले बिकॉज मेडल में किस्मत का भी बहुत साथ है
मैं ये सवाल इनसे पूछने वाला था अभी 3 लोग बैठे थे यहाँ पे जो मैनेजमेंट कंपनी को संभालते हैं तो बिकॉज ओलंपिक मेडल जीतने बाद तो किसी चीज की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती सब चीजें हो जाती हैं लेकिन आई थिंक जो इनसे सवाल मेरा ये था कि बिफोर दैट व्हाट काइंड ऑफ इन्वेस्टमेंट यू डू इन द एथलीट दैट्स द मेन थिंग
मेडल जीतने से पहले
लाइक बिफोर दैट व्हाट काइंड ऑफ पीआर व्हाट काइंड ऑफ रिसोर्सेज यू प्रोवाइड देम कि दे विल गेट द मेडल that's the main thing
exactly
that's the main thing you know
जैसे नीरज
after
चोपड़ा
that like of course Neeraj Chopra now he's the like you know world champion everybody knows him but before that how many PR company like invested in him so that's the main thing ये बहुत मुश्किल है और लोग बात कर लेते हैं कि हम क्रिकेट को इतना हम बीट कर दें ये कर दें नो nobody can do that यार it's बहुत आगे है हमसे because it's a brand value और वहाँ एक टीम है उनकी प्रॉपर उसको ग्रूम करती है उनको बताती है हाउ टू टॉक हाउ टू वॉक सब तरह की चीजें होती हैं और व्हेन यू बिकम ओलंपिक चैंपियन तब तो नोबडी
ये चिकन एंड एग भी है विजेंद्र आपने मेडल जीता मैरी ने मेडल जीता उसके बाद बॉक्सिंग में पैसा आया लोगों ने रियलाइज करा कि हाँ भाई ये हो सकता है सिमिलरली रेसलिंग में आया राइट अब जैवलिन तो किसी को पता भी नहीं था वो नीरज ने मेडल जीता उसके बाद से स्कूल्स में जैवलिन बच्चे बोल रहे हैं कि हम भी खेलेंगे राइट तो ये चिकन एंड एग सिचुएशन है कि आप मेडल जीते उसके बाद इंडस्ट्री आती है या यू नो पहले से हो, बट एटलीस्ट मैं ये समझता हूँ कि सारे एथलीट्स के बारे में पता, ओलंपिक में जितने भी हमारे जा रहे हैं एथलीट्स, कम से कम बेसिक लेवल पे उनके पास इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर हो या पता हो उनके बारे में कि हाँ भाई ये खेलने जा रहे हैं।
और स्पोर्ट्स में इंजरीज बहुत होती हैं, लाइक स्पेशली बॉक्सिंग में बहुत सारी चीजें, नाक टूट जाती है, हमारे आईज की बड़ी प्रॉब्लम होती है, बिकॉज किसी का भी थंब लग गया तो आई साइड चली जाती है हमारी, बहुत सारे एथलीट्स के साथ हुआ है ये सब चीजें, लेकिन उनका बेचारा कोई बीमा भी नहीं होता, उनका जो इंश्योरेंस बोलते हैं उसको, तो और उनको जॉब से भी निकाल दिया जाता है, बिकॉज एक बड़ी एक ये मसला हो गया पिछले 10-15 साल से कि एक बॉन्ड साइन कराते हैं आपसे वो कि 3 साल का बॉन्ड साइन करो कि आपको परफॉर्मेंस देनी पड़ेगी, आप 4 साल का बॉन्ड, कोई भी चाहे आप इंडियन आर्मी में भी बॉन्ड साइन करवाते हैं, बताइए एथलीट्स के, तो किसी को चोट लगी, किसी को आई साइड चली जाती है, और बहुत सारी इंजरीज होती है, हैमस्ट्रिंग खिंच जाती है हमारी, तो फ्रैक्चर हो जाते हैं हाथ में, तो वो एक बहुत बड़ा मसला, आई थिंक इसको इंडियन गवर्नमेंट को इसमें दखल देनी चाहिए, स्पेशली स्पोर्ट्स मिनिस्ट्री को, कि भैया इस तरह की बॉन्ड साइन, अगर आप ने एक क्राइटेरिया रख दें कि भैया ओलंपिक जो नेशनल चैंपियन हो जो मिलेगी उसको, दैट्स इट, तो ये ना हो कि भैया 4 साल का आप एक बॉन्ड साइन कराएं कि आपको परफॉर्म करना पड़ेगा, नहीं ऐसे नहीं होता ना, एक एथलीट का एक होता है, एक टाइम होता है, अप एंड डाउन होती रहती है परफॉर्मेंस।
बिल्कुल। अच्छा, लेट्स गेट डाउन टू रॉ बॉक्सिंग, बिकॉज यू नो जो भी देखता है obviously we see it for the adrenaline rush for it. Mike Tyson ने बड़ा famously कहा था कि everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face. तो आप जब रिंग के अंदर you know आपकी बहुत battles हुई होंगी, talk to me about ups and downs in the ring, कि असली में जब पंच सही में पड़ जाता है और मतलब मार पड़ रही होती है, मारना भी ठीक है वो आप जब you know at the top of the game, लेकिन actually जब अटैक हो रहा होता है, what is going through your mind? कहाँ पे वो चल रहा होता है कि बदन बोल रहा है कि नहीं यार
It's easy to talk, it's easy, very easy to talk, but when you're in the ring, at that time you feel it like, okay, now, like in 2010, I was in China, और final bout थी मेरी Asian Games final bout, because मैं कौन गेम्स में जो दिल्ली में हुए थे, I got a bronze here, और यहाँ मैं हार गया था पूरी, लाइक आई डोंट नो क्या चीज थी वो, लेकिन आई कम बैक अगेन एंड आई गॉट द ओलंपिक एशियन गेम्स गोल्ड मेडल, तो मेरी फाइनल फाइट थी, और जो मेरा थंब था ये डिसलोकेट हो गया था फर्स्ट राउंड में, आई जस्ट पंच हिम एंड ये निकल गया बाहर, और माय स्कोर वाज 3-2, 3 मेरा और 2 उसका, तो आई आस्क्ड हिम, मैं कोच में कहा हाउ इज इट गोइंग, तो विजू एक पॉइंट ऊपर है अभी, और मेरा बिकॉज मेरे को मालूम पड़ गया था, मेरे को माय लेफ्ट हैंड इज नॉट वर्किंग, आई नो दैट कि लाइक मैं अभी गया, तो मैं क्या ओके चलो ठीक है, मैं कहा ठीक है अभी लेट्स डू दैट अगेन, देन आई वेंट देयर, बट आई जस्ट जो लेफ्ट हैंड था उसको मैंने उससे दूर रखा, आई डिडंट हिट हिम, आई जस्ट सिंपली जस्ट टेक द डिस्टेंस एंड राइट से आई हैव टू जस्ट बाय द टाइम, बिकॉज आई हैव टू विन दैट फाइट दैट टाइम, so it's all about winning when you into the ring, ना कि like मेरे को एक फाइट जीतनी है, that's it, उसके बाद आप जो भी स्टारडम करना, जो भी सुपरस्टार, जो भी डांस करना, you will do outside, but I have to win this fight, that's it, ये दिमाग में चल रहा होता है, that's it, nothing else.
तो फिर वो फाइट जीते आप, लेकिन अल्टीमेटली
Yes, I win that
तो
fight
कैसे
very easily.
लेफ्ट हैंड थंब
It's
डिसलोकेट होने के बाद
dislocated, yeah, it's like here, like मेरे पास एक्सरे भी था, पर मेरा बैग ही चुरा लिया किसी ने मेरे पास तो आफ्टर दैट एशियन गेम्स फाइट, और मेरी डॉक्टर थी और सब, एवरीबडी नो दैट, और फिर प्लास्टर हुआ था मेरे तकरीबन 1 महीना में,
अंगूठा डिसलोकेशन के बाद जीते कैसे?
ये because it's all technique ना, because when your coach is your side ना, he told me कि like विजू अभी एक स्कोर ऊपर है तेरे को, you know how to manage him, मैं कहा ठीक है, because मेरी हाइट का बड़ा एडवांटेज मिलता है मेरे को, then I have to just keep him away, so I didn't use it with like power, no, I just keep him away कि like okay punch mara, then start footwork, there are a lot of technical things we will do it, but you have to, you know that you are not capable to like fight him, don't hit him hard, just stay away, just maintain your distance, that's it, and there is a like 4-round fight, it's not a professional boxing ki like you can like go for 10 round, no, it's all about like 3-4 rounds, I just time pass, that's it.
Amazing. अभी बात करेंगे जो आपका मूवी करियर है, आई हैव सीन अ लॉट ऑफ रिस्पेक्ट, चाहे अक्षय कुमार हो, चाहे सलमान खान हो, आपके लिए एक अलग लेवल का रिस्पेक्ट है, बिकॉज दे हैव सीन यू, यू नो जो एक्शन करते हैं उनको पता है कि यू नो रियल एथलीट है विजेंद्र सिंह और ओलंपिक जीता हुआ है, कैसा रिलेशनशिप रहा, स्पेशली सलमान ने जैसे आपको फोन किया, वो क्या बात हुई, फिर फिल्म में भी आपका इतना अहम रोल है और उसमें आप तो बिल्कुल ही मतलब टोटली यू आर ओनिंग इट।
सलमान भाई के लाइक हाउ इट स्टार्टेड, तो उसकी बताता हूँ मैं, 2-3 दिन से फोन आ रहे थे सलमान भाई के मेरे पास, ये आई थिंक 19 की बात है, आई थिंक लास्ट ईयर की बात होगी शायद, या और उनके फोन आए बार बार की, बिकॉज रात को फोन आते तकरीबन 11 बजे, कई बार 2 बजे, कई बार 1 बजे। मैं 10 बजे के बाद अपना फोन साइलेंट करके मैं सो जाता हूँ, मैं किसी का भी फोन आता है नेवर टेक द कॉल। तो फिर सुबह फोन करता हूँ तो फिर भाई नहीं उठाते, बिकॉज भाई का फिर अलग काम है। तो 2-3 दिन से फोन आ रहे थे उनके बार बार, तो फिर मैं यूके पहुंच जाता हूँ, बिकॉज मेरी फ्लाइट थी उस टाइम पे उसकी मैनचेस्टर पहुंच जाता हूँ। मैं कहा चलो मैं आज तंग करता हूँ, बिकॉज डिफरेंस है ना उसका टाइम का। तो तकरीबन 9 बजे मैंने फ़ोन किया, देन ही टेक द कॉल, और तब हनी सिंह और जस्सी गिल ये सब लोग साथ में थे। आई थिंक दे वर इन हैदराबाद, एंड देन ही आस्क्ड मी कहाँ पे क्या कर रहा है। मैं क्या अपन एक मूवी करते हैं, मैं चलो डू दैट। तो आई डिडंट आस्क हिम कि लाइक मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ, मैं क्या सलमान खान फ़ोन कर रहा है, सलमान खान बुला रहा है। देन मैं कहा लेट्स डू दैट, एंड फिर घर पे गए हम लोग, फिर भाई ने ही सारा नरेट किया, अपन ये है वो है, ऐसे फाइट है, मैं आपकी मेरी फाइट है ना, हाँ तेरी मेरी फाइट है, मैं चलो ठीक है, फिर ठीक है अपन लेट्स डू दैट अगेन। देन हाउ इट स्टार्टेड, फिर हमने मूवी स्टार्ट की, और बॉम्बे में तकरीबन 1 महीना शूट किया हुआ, दैट्स इट।
शूटिंग एक्सपीरियंस कैसा था? बिकॉज लास्ट का तो बड़ा एक्सटेंडेड सीन है जहां आप मारे जा रहे हैं, प्रॉपर बॉक्सिंग ही हो रही है और सलमान को मार पड़ी जा रही है।
नहीं,
में वो होते हैं अलग से।
पहले थोड़ा मुश्किल था, बिकॉज मैं फाइट करके आता ना, तो 1-2 बार पंच लग गया, बट
का पंच लग गया
हाँ
सलमान
पंच को लग गया वो, बिकॉज वो भाई को पता ना, भाई ने सारा वो कहते हैं ना ऑब्जर्व किया, लाइक हाँ ठीक है, मुट्ठी खोल, अभी ज्यादा तेज मत मार, अभी मुट्ठी खोल के मार, बिकॉज ये हमारा पंच होता है, ये तो आई नो दैट हाउ टू हिट हिम। तो पर उसने कहा डोंट डोंट डू दैट, डोंट जस्ट ओपन योर फिस्ट एंड देन हो जाएगा, देन विल गेट इट। तो फिर एंगल वैंगल चेंज करके ना हो जाती है सब चीजें। तो बड़ा शुरू शुरू में तकलीफ होती थी, लेकिन हो गया, फिर हम लोगों ने एडजस्ट कर लिया अपने।
बट ही फेल्ट योर पंच, 1-2 बार जो लगा तो उनको एहसास हुआ कि यार ये ओलंपिक मेडलिस्ट का पंच
बहुत
मुक्का
चोट
पड़ा
बहुत
है।
लगती है। अभी लाइक हम शूटिंग कर रहे थे, फिर वार्म अप नहीं होते ना, तो हम लोग तो फिर गिरते हैं, तो फिर ये हो जाती है चीजें, लाइक हो जाती है, स्ट्रेन आ जाएगा, फ्रैक्चर हो जाएगा, ये सब चीजें छोटी छोटी चीजें होती हैं, शूटिंग करते हैं तब लग जाती है, नहीं पता लगता, बिकॉज यू हैव टू बी लाइक स्ट्रेच योरसेल्फ बिफोर डूइंग एनी एक्शन सीन, बिकॉज बहुत मुश्किल होती है कि पंच लगता है, गिरता है, तब आदमी तब वो हो जाती, निकल जाती है फिंगर विंगर कई बार।
अच्छा, बहुत जैसे मैंने बोला कि इट्स जो है रिंग में, आपने ही बोला, उसी को पता है कि जिस टाइम पे अपोनेंट के साथ हो रहा है अबाउट, बहुत टफ है, द गेम इज रियली टफ ऑब्वियसली, बट इज पॉलिटिक्स टफर? क्योंकि बोलते हैं कि पॉलिटिक्स उससे भी ज्यादा टफ है, वो अलग ही गेम है।
वेरी टफ, वेरी टफ। पर वो एक वो मूवी का डायलॉग है ना, जब तक जीतेगा नहीं जब तक छोड़ेगा नहीं, तो दैट्स इट।
छोड़ेगा नहीं जब तक छोड़ेगा नहीं।
नहीं छोड़ेगा नहीं अपन, तो आई वांट टू बी देयर ना, लाइक आई वांट टू फील इट, बिकॉज आई नेवर बिलीव इन क्विटिंग, लाइक व्हाई शुड आई क्विट यार, व्हाई नॉट, आई बी देयर, लाइक व्हाई नॉट। तो ऑफ कोर्स इट्स वेरी हार्ड, समटाइम आई फील वेरी फ्रस्ट्रेटेड, बिकॉज इट्स नॉट अ बॉक्सिंग। बॉक्सिंग होती तो सामने वाले को देख के अब ठोक के आ जाओ, लेकिन ये पॉलिटिक्स है, इस पॉलिटिक्स में कहते हैं दुश्मन तो आपको दिख जाएगा कि वो उस पार्टी का, लेकिन जो अपने साथ में बैठे हैं वो कितने दुश्मन नहीं पता लगता। बहुत चीज है, बट लॉट ऑफ पीपल डोंट अंडरस्टैंड, बट हम हैं यहाँ पे तो अभी सीख रहे हैं।
वो बोलते हैं ना, स्ट्रेट ट्रीज गेट फर्स्ट दे गेट कट, तो उसमें आपको ज्यादा तकलीफ हो रही है, बिकॉज उसमें पॉलिटिक्स में एक अलग ही चक्रव्यूह होता है जिसके बीच में
बिकॉज एक जितने भी स्पोर्ट्स पर्सन होते हैं ना, बहुत दिल के बहुत साफ होते हैं, बिकॉज दैट्स व्हाई आई ऑलवेज सपोर्ट देम, बिकॉज जब जैसे जैसे आप बड़े होते हैं ना, तो आप सीखते हैं बहुत सारी चीजें। तो हम तो वो कहते हैं ना भाई मैं तेरे साथ हूँ, तो वो मेरे साथ है, राइट। लेकिन जब इस राजनीति में कोई बोलता है कि मैं भाई मैं तेरे साथ हूँ, तो फिर वो 2 बार सोचता है इंसान ना, आओ। तो फिर वो चीजें हो जाती हैं, बिकॉज स्पोर्ट्स का, बिकॉज हमने तो ये पूरी ताउम्र ये किया ना, स्पोर्ट्स किया है, तो वी बिलीव दैट कि ही इज वेरी गुड गाय, लाइक मेरे साथ है, मेरे साथ बोलचाल में अच्छा है, सब कुछ ठीक है, ही मस्ट बी नाइस गाय। लेकिन वो फिर बाद में पता लगता है कि अच्छा ओके, ये तो हाँ था, ये तो ऐसे किया, तो सब चीजें होती हैं, बट आप अच्छे रहो तो सब अच्छा ही होता है, तो ये सब चीजें चलती रहती है।
अच्छा, अभी के स्पेसिफिक बॉक्सिंग पे अगर बात करें, ग्रास रूट लेवल पे आपको क्या लगता है, क्या क्या चेंजेस चाहिए, एथलीट्स को क्या चाहिए फ्रॉम एन एथलीट्स पर्सपेक्टिव, कि उनके लिए क्या सबसे ज्यादा जरूरी है, और ज्यादा मेडल्स लाने के लिए या और ज्यादा अचीव करने के लिए, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर वाइज एवरीथिंग?
नहीं मालूम है, बिकॉज क्यों नहीं मालूम, बिकॉज वो लड़के मिलते हैं मेरे को जो भी अपने जो है नेशनल टीम में है भी स्पेशली, तो वो भी उनकी ट्रायल नहीं ली, एक बाहर से आयरलैंड के कोच मंगाए हैं उन्होंने, हमारे जो बॉक्सिंग फेडरेशन के जो अजय सिंह जी हैं, उन्होंने आयरलैंड के 2 कोच, वो दे आर रूलिंग इट, तो अभी दे आर द चीफ कोच, वो ट्रायल सिस्टम उन्होंने खत्म कर दिया है अभी, तो वो कहते हैं कि पॉइंट नोट करते हैं किसी का कि इसने अच्छी रनिंग की तो इसके 5 पॉइंट, इसने अच्छी स्पारिंग की तो इसके पॉइंट सिस्टम कर दिया, तो ट्रायल खत्म कर दिया उन्होंने। तो आई थिंक जब तक ट्रायल नहीं होंगी तो मेरे को नहीं लगता कि ये सही काम होगा। तो आई थिंक जो बॉक्सिंग की बागडोर है वो इंडियन कोचेज के हाथ में हो, और जो बाहर के कोचेज उनको आपको एक्सपीरियंस शेयर कराना है तो आप उनको नीचे एक एडिशनल कोच लगा दें और जो भी उनको बनाना वो पद दे दें। लेकिन जो भागदौड़ है बॉक्सिंग की, बिकॉज हम इंडियन हैं तो हम कहते हैं अपने लोगों से ज्यादा खुलते हैं, लाइक सपोज हम उनके साथ सेकंड में जाते हैं बॉक्सिंग रिंग में, तो बताने के लिए एक लैंग्वेज बैरियर भी होता है, बहुत सारे लोगों को इंग्लिश नहीं आती कि वो क्या बोल रहे हैं, क्या करना चाहते हैं, तो ये सब चीजें हैं आई थिंक। लेकिन बॉक्सर मैं उम्मीद करता हूँ कि वो अच्छा करें। एशियन गेम अभी आ रहे हैं, बहुत रिसेंट है, और लड़कियां बहुत अच्छा कर रही है, हमारी मेडल लेके आ रही हैं, चाहे लवलीना हो चाहे निकी जरीन हो, तो दे आर डूइंग वेरी फाइन।
लास्ट क्वेश्चन ये है कि व्हाट्स नेक्स्ट फॉर विजेंद्र सिंह? कोई ऐसा गोल बना रखा है कि यार ये पाना है, जैसे ओलंपिक मेडल का गोल बन गया था, इस पॉलिटिक्स में है कि नहीं भाई यहाँ तक पहुंचना है, कोई कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर बनना है या प्राइम मिनिस्टर बनना है, कुछ ऐसा गोल है?
जब मैं इलेक्शन में हुआ था ना 19 में लड़ा था, तो एक पत्रकार ने पूछा कि आप राजनीति में क्यों आए, मेरे से पूछा उसने, मैं कहा मेरे को प्रधानमंत्री बनना है। मैं कहा सोचो तो बड़ा सोचो ना, व्हाई यू आर थिंकिंग अबाउट लाइक मेरे को एमपी बनना, मेरे को कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर बनना, व्हाई? तो सोचना तो कम से कम बड़ा तो सोचो यार। तो भैया बड़ा सोचा है तो अच्छा ही होगा, जो कुछ कर रहे हैं वो अच्छा ही होगा। और
चलो फिर मे बी आई एम सिटिंग विद द नेक्स्ट प्राइम मिनिस्टर ऑफ द कंट्री। प्लीज ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the one and only Vijendra Singh. और तेज तालियां यार, first Olympic medalist as a boxer from India. Thank you, sir.
थैंक यू सो मच विजेंदर, थैंक यू सुशांत। अभी आपके फिल्म के बारे में बातचीत हो रही थी, फिल्म का नाम है किसी का भाई किसी की जान। But did you know, and there's a mic there, if there's a mic, someone can just pass around the mic, which was Vijendar's debut film? If anyone knows the name, debut film कौन सी थी? 2014 में निकली थी फिल्म, something ugly Fugly is correct. Yes, 2014. Vijender, I just have to ask you if someone can give the mic, because boxing के बारे में काफी बातचीत हुई है यहाँ पे। वो 2014 के जो आप एक्टर थे और अब 2023 में जो एक्टर थे, एक्टिंग की कला में कुछ सुधार, कुछ बदलाव आया है आपके?
वो आप लोग बताइए ना, आपने 14 की मूवी भी देखी थी, आपने किसी का भाई किसी की जान ये भी देखी है, तो कितना डिफरेंस आया है दोनों में, आया कि नहीं आया? इसमें नेचुरल लग रहे थे थोड़े आप इसमें बहुत अच्छा था। हाँ जी, इसमें बिकॉज उस टाइम जो हमने की ना मूवी, बिकॉज कैसे शुरू हुई थी वो भी, बिकॉज अक्षय और हमारी बड़ी अच्छी बॉन्डिंग, हम दोनों साथ में ट्रेनिंग करते थे, कई बार मैं बॉम्बे जाता था शूट वूट के लिए, तो बहुत सारी चीजें करते तो एक स्क्रिप्ट थी, उन्होंने कहा कि ये स्क्रिप्ट है और मूवी करनी, तो मैं कहा यार नेकी और पूछ मैं कहा करते हैं अपन, व्हाई नॉट। और फिर वो उनका जो अश्विनी आरडी है हमारी, एक जो उनकी प्रोडक्शन बेजिंग गोट संभालती है, और देन हाउ इट स्टार्टेड, और हमने आई थिंक दिल्ली में शूट किया था तकरीबन 1.5-2 महीना, और ऐसे शुरू हुई थी हमारी, और उसके बाद अभी सलमान भाई की होगी, तो आई थिंक दिस वन इज मच बेटर। वो कि वहाँ तो हमने बहुत सारी गलतियां की थी, और कहते हैं इंसान हर बार सीखता है, तो अगली मूवी आएगी उसमें इससे भी अच्छा होगा। टेक रीटेक थे उसमें काफी, इसमें अब उसमें यार, उसमें पता क्या मसला था उसमें, हम बच्चे लोग थे ना, वो बहुत एनर्जी हमारी यहाँ वहाँ बहुत चली जाती थी, तो यहाँ होता ना सलमान भाई जब सेट पे आते सब साइलेंट, कोई बकवास नहीं करेगा, जाके शूट करो, काम खत्म करो, घर चले जाओ, दैट्स इट। ये बड़ी आसान, बड़ी अच्छी चीज लगी मेरे को। थैंक यू सो मच विजेंदर, थैंक यू सो मच फॉर दिस, थैंक यू सो मच विजेंदर। मैं थोड़ा बैकफुट पे हो गया था, आप खड़े होके आ गए ना, मैं थोड़ा बैकफुट पे हो गया, तो मैंने सीधा नेचुरल बोल ही दिया वहां पे। थैंक यू फॉर दिस, थैंक यू सो मच। Time now for our next fireside chat. If you enjoyed that chat with Vijender Singh, it's time for another boxing champion to come up on this stage.
And, she once famously said a very nice thing. It's a lovely quote. She said, never buy gold, simply earn it. And she's lived up to that promise, right? 8 boxing world championship golds, including 7 in her first 7 attempts. That is huge. The only Indian female boxer to qualify for the Olympics and then go on to win the bronze in the 2012 London Games. Gold in the 2018 Commonwealth Games. Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan, Padma Vibhushan. Please put your hands together for Magnificent Mary, MC Mary Kom. And doing the chat with Mary will be Ranjan Sodhi, former double trap shooter, a man who's won medals at the Commonwealth Games as well. Please put your hands together for Ranjan Sodhi.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, it's a pleasure to be sitting with such a champion.
Pleasure too, sir.
So I'm not going to ask her anything about boxing because we all know about her boxing and her training and everything. So I'm going to just be a little candid and ask you about your life in general. So let me start with, let's go back to the memory lane and tell us something about growing up in the village. We all know that you come from a very small town.
Yes, sir.
Small village, actually.
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
Well, I'm becoming from very, very humble background, of course. My family, my parents, very humble. That mean what to say, compare with the, the other family. From that also very, very, I don't know how to explain to you actually. Very humble mean humble. My parents are very hardworking guys, and even I'm so lucky that I have a very hardworking parents, and they keep on saying, they keep on telling always positive way. Even sometimes I am also in the field. I join them actually. I help them, even though in the field, that always they keep telling me a positive way. We do this and that for you, for your brother and sister. So at least, we don't want that, you guys are fast. At least we want to fill your tummy. Whatever we are doing is, but education and the other is so many lacking. Sometimes they can't afford to give a tuition fees, school fees, this and that. So many, even dress wise also, they can't give us that much. So, but whatever my parents said, I always listen and keep in my mind. I always, good, the positive, what they have, giving me that message, that I always keep here and here. And when I was in sports, start doing, I knew, yes, what sports careers also we can do so much thing, lot of things. If we have talent, not only talent, hard work. That hard work will definitely pay. That is, I already knew. If I don't do any hard work, yes, initially was, of course, sir, that struggle, because of so much lacking. I have lacking. My entire life is lacking and struggle. But I never give up. I keep on fighting, push myself from that grassroots, from that child. I keep on doing that pain, everything. But later on, what I see is boxing, my parents doesn't want that. If he hurt,
If you get paid, I mean, if you hurt, if you injure, then another expenditure. That only my parents, they don't allow. But later on, I begging like anything. Parent respect. Without their support, I cannot do anything. I will not bless anymore. Yes, we have God. I can pray, I can do whatever, but my parents' support also very needed at the same time. With their support only, I can achieve. And that parents' blessing is very, very needed. So I request many times, not only 1, 2, 3, many times. Finally, they allowed and, they support. Then, and sir, that's why my, that journey it's a huge, I don't want to, I just make it short. I don't want to say whatever happened, the incident, accident, whatever, I don't want to mention. We all know that means the book also came out and the biopic also, that struggle, that hard work, everybody knows. So that's the journey of mine. Thank you.
You're married to a footballer. Do you ever play football yourself?
I do play, of course. Football is one of my, favorite games as well. Boxing. Who can box every day? Who will box all the time? Whole life, Sometimes have fun, enjoy. That is life only.
Tell us about your love life. Yeah.
Love
Were,
life.
were you dating here before, or
Not
was it
at all. Actually, I don't have that, journey like how we met, how we love each other. That is very, very, very unfortunate. Very accidentally, actually. Accidentally means he is one. It's not funny, actually. Mommy, Anjuji, please don't. This is, I'm telling you, this is real. This is not fun at all, not funny at all. Even we don't know each other. He's also doing his own life, study or whatever. I didn't know him wherever we are belongs to same community, but he live in Delhi. Okay, and doing some, prepare for some exam and all. And I also come from that same community. When I come to Delhi for a national camp, and that accidentally, what I'm telling you is we don't know each other before. That incident, incident happened. I lost my, passport in while I'm traveling from Guwahati to this that wherever sorry, that is Haryana. What is that called? So no Sonipat. See, memory little Rohtak, yes, some Rohtak place. I lost on the way actually while I'm coming for a national camp. I lost everything, and I don't have anyone to help me out for to make a new passport. And they find out somewhere. I think they show my interview in somewhere else in the newspaper or something, the article, something else, lost this and that, the article is come out, and he already, that's newspaper show, and he trying to contact somehow somewhere, like that incident. So that is part of, he is also taking that responsibility, being a Kom community, small Kom community, that, he is a president, I think student, some president, Kom union president, something like that. Only that connection only, he find me actually. Then even I don't know that we will, getting married, this and that. But that the way we are, that only he helped me, and of course I'm lucky that to have him in the future as well. So
But did he-
don't romance, no, nothing. We don't have time. I don't have, my life is most of my life is only in that fighting, training, fighting whole life.
When was the last you've had fought, when you fought with him?
I never fought with him actually. If I fought, not finish. Emergency.
So somebody told me that she's a
Even
wonderful cook. And I
Yes.
believe she makes wonderful butter chicken. Is that right? You're fond of cooking, no?
Sir, yes. That
So what is your favorite cuisine which you
I love actually. I'm very big fan of cooking as well. I cook veg, non-veg, anything. It's amazing, yum. I am multi. I am very thing. I mean to say is multi-talented. Actually, not only boxing. Inside the ring, you will see me like a tigress. Yes. Okay. And maybe, yeah, and maybe at home as a housewife, you will see me a good mother, a good wife, a good look, taking care of everything. I cannot have much time in my family. I cannot give much time. I cannot spend much time only my entire life because focus. If I don't focus in my training, upcoming competition, maybe I will not be here today. I'm telling you. But whenever I'm home, I do whatever. Domestic house, the housework doesn't matter. I don't care. I live like a very simple actually. I cook on my own. I do whatever work on my own. That domestic work as a wife, as a mother, I do on my own. That is my habit. I mean, happiness. One of my happiness.
You've been a member of parliament of the upper house. So tell us one funny thing that happened there. In fact, every day something
Sir.
other happens.
Sir.
But tell us one instance which you always remember.
Okay. Actually, I'm not very, not interest actually nominated because yes, government has given as a, nominated already. Then what can I do? Why I accept as a member of parliament? There is no any reason. No reason. I'm not interested in politics also. I can join any party, whether government, the opposite, or current government. Any party I can join. But I'm not really interested. I didn't join any party. And as a nominated and do my responsible, whatever I can do from my side to raise any question for the sports, I will do. But unnecessary like what we say, unnecessary like whether government, currently, whether to support or not to support. This also sometimes is very difficult. Of course, government sometime if they are doing good initiative, I will definitely support. But sometimes I feel like, this is in the future, this will not good for a sport or for myself, then quite. Whether I support or not, so I didn't say, and no comment. That, that is actually, and politics is politics. If I'm telling you honestly, I'm not interested. मैं तो सीधा सीधा करना है तो करना है, नहीं करना है तो नहीं करना है. फेस टू फेस बात करते हैं. जो कुछ कर रहा है तो झूठ बोल के मुझे नहीं करना भी करना चाहिए, करना ही है करके मुझे कभी झूठ नहीं बोलना नहीं आता. Sometimes to politics, sir, actually, no, we have to lie, promises, isn't it? Am I right? Am I right or wrong? There, I have seen so many politicians in Manipur. No, they did. इतना प्रोमिसेस करता ही नहीं है, और कितना साल के बाद जो प्रोमिस को करने के लिए कुछ गड़बड़ हो जाता है, समथिंग अगेन रॉन्ग, कुछ न कुछ हो जाता है। लेकिन इसलिए व्हाई आई डोंट लाइक दिस पॉलिटिक्स। ओके, मैं तो सीधा इंसान हूँ, गलत करना नहीं चाहती हूँ, बुरा भी नहीं करना नहीं चाहता हूँ। जो अच्छा गवर्नमेंट, इवन कोई भी गवर्नमेंट अच्छा करेगा, आई विल स्टे एंड आई विल सपोर्ट। और कुछ गड़बड़ हो जाएगा तो आई विल नेवर सपोर्ट करूं ना करूं, बहुत दिक्कत है। लेकिन मेरे बहुत बहुत साल मेरे पार्लियामेंट सेशन में बहुत फनी देखा, बाजार जैसा लगता है, मार्केट मच्छी मार्केट जैसा, कोई डिस्कशन नहीं जाता है। यही दिस इज वन ऑफ द वर्स्ट। And I was trying to listen what is discussion going, what is the opposition government, ये क्या चल रहा है, चर्चा चल रहा है, I don't understand। और अपना अपना भाषा बोलने लगे, हिंदी इंग्लिश में, और मिक्सअप हो गया, तो कौन सा बात है मुझे समझ नहीं आ रहा है।
Tell us your favorite politician.
आप लोगों ने टीवी में भी देखा होगा, इज इट? उधर में भी रेल में भी समझ नहीं आता है। तर एक दूसरे को डिस्कशन, whenever they have the discussion part, no, if they listen each other, then we will know that, oh, this discussion is going on and they are discussing very well, very nice, cool. Nothing happened.
You wanted to ask something.
I really I didn't do that, so I'm not doing. If I did there now, I will be in the jail. For how many years I cannot say. That is very risky. I seriously sometimes I also feel that.
She's asking, in your head, whom did you vote?
I know I didn't do that in the parliament side. Ring side though I can. But inside the parliament or outside the parliament though, wherever I go, I cannot box. But inside, whoever come, a big politician, big man, a businessman come, then to you are no mercy at all.
What next for you, sports person, member of parliament? You cook, you're a good mother, you're a good wife. Is there anything that's lacking? Something that you want to change something about yourself?
No, I think it's whatever I have, taking this role, I'm really happy and really proud. Being a girl, being a woman, I can still handle and manage and happy and enjoy. So as a boxer, as a mother, as a member of parliament, and good cook, good mother, this is more than enough. I think so,
What
sir.
else can one ask for?
How do you know that, please? That's why multi.
I think everybody would like to.
Boss? Actually, I said I am a multi, talent. It is multi-talent, like, singing also a part of my life. It's a part of my life. I do sing at home, listening, music, and most of the time during my training, during my training camp, even my competition, that gives me.
I think you want to listen to something, right?
अरे बाप रे, ये तो
Okay, just 2 lines, anything.
अरे 2 lines, sir, 2 lines.
Okay, we'll listen to the whole song then.
I have to check my phone. I used to sing karaoke. It's not a good voice, but copycat I can sing. Copy to copy.
I think so.
I'm not that good artist, not artist at all, just bathroom singer part.
There's your
But
phone there.
I can sing a copy to copy. So let me.
Ox, anybody? probably want to.
Yeah, that's why actually. Yeah, I just want what song should I?
Well, I think it was boxing is much easier than this. I think we can skip that.
Sorry, this day I have a little coughing and.
You want something?
No, I didn't. So sorry.
Okay, till the time they're fixing it, so we'll go to the next question. So I believe she trains every day. She doesn't miss a single day of training, whether it's gym or whether anything.
Yes.
Every single day she trains.
Yes.
What keeps you motivated even
I don't
today?
know that hunger where it come from actually. Many people they have that the hunger or not. Today I just want to ask you, even you ask on your own as well. Hunger means inside what I have today. If I miss out my workout, I think I was something happened to me. I don't know that I miss out my medicine. If I am patient of this and that, when we miss our medicine, can you imagine that medicine? Some cases, health issue. If you miss out, your body is something you feel that. Same like when I am also I'm not doing my workout. Sometimes 3 times. Now also I did 3 times. Sometimes one day really miss out, then I'm totally out of. मेरा पूरा बेकार हो गया. Something. Then I always do when I did my workout and I feel good, that confident mind, was totally feel, refresh. ऐसे हुआ 20 साल हो चुकी हूँ, वो तो एडिक्टेड हो गया हूँ शायद मैं. मुझे कोई दारू में एडिक्टेड, स्मोक में एडिक्टेड होता है ना, नहीं पीने 1 घंटा नहीं पीने से कुछ हो जाता है. मैं कोई लोग देखा हूँ जो स्मोक में, when they are not smoke 1 hour 2 hour, oh my god, crazy, they run fast and give me that time, they have that time, peace.
I think we can go
ऐसे
on.
कोई है?
I think we can go on and on talking to her. Lovely conversation with you, but we're a little pressed with time, so people are looking at me, so we'll have to wrap it up here because we've got another session after this. Lovely talking to you. Thank you so much.
Sir.
Thanks,
Thank
thanks,
you. It's
thanks.
my pleasure too, sir. Thank you. Yeah.
Hands. Please put your hands together for MC Mary Com and Ranjan Sodhi once again. Lovely conversation. Mary, I have a. Can we get a mic to Mary, please? I have a one final question, please. Is there a mic here in the room? Someone with a mic near Mary? Could you please give the mic to Mary, please? Mary, I have one final question for you, please. You have 3 sons at home.
3 sons and 1 daughter.
3 sons and 1 daughter. I have
4 total, only 4.
I have 2, hoping for 3. I just want to ask you,
Yes.
what is tougher, to get a gold at the World Boxing Championships or handling 4 children at home?
Handling 4 children is I think that was the toughest.
But I'm specifying 3 boys because there's a different energy with 3 boys. So just
Yeah,
ask.
that is the looking after the kids. That is the toughest. Training mind free. No one is disturbing. Whatever I have to push, it's up to me. Actually, maximum I can push on my own. I can do maximum training, without any tension. That is very important when we have a work something important. Then without stress, without any disturbance. Then only we can, go ahead and we can achieve whatever we want, if I am not wrong. So if there is something, disturb or all the time, that disturbance happen, we cannot achieve anymore. So I'm doing sacrifice. I leave my parents. I leave my kids. Always sacrifice my life. I think it's almost 20 years. I sacrificed my life in sports, especially in boxing. That's why I have become a champion. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Mary. Thank you so much for that. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time now for our final panel discussion of the day. And the topic for this panel discussion is women in sport. You just heard a very enterprising woman right now. However you may look at it, women's sport is at an all-time high. There's no doubt about it. Now, here's the scary part. The scary part is that they've barely scratched the surface right now. Be it performance on the field or the consumption of women's sport off it, women's sport is hitting new numbers each and every year. A few names: Hima Das, athletics; Rani Rampal, hockey; Manisha Kalyan, football; Nikhat Zareen, boxing. These are just a few names that future generations will refer to as game changers in shifting that ever-evolving narrative of women's sport in our country. Please join me in welcoming our panelists on stage, achievers who've done so much for women's sport. First up, put your hands together for gold medalist in the Commonwealth Games, Olympian wrestler Geeta Fogart. Anju Bobby George, Vice President, Athletics Federation of India, the first Indian to win a medal in the Athletics World Championship, where she won a silver in the long jump in 2003. MC Mary Kom. Please put your hands together for MC Mary Kom. And joining them in a bit will be former India cricket captain, Padma Shri and Arjuna awardee, Miss Anjum Chopra. Moderating this discussion will be Miss Ashwini Nachappa, Arjuna awardee, Olympian and founder, Ashwini Sports Foundation, co-founder, KALS.
Thank you for this opportunity. For me, it's an honor to be moderating this session. The first time that I'm ever attempting to moderate. Normally you're on the other side, just shooting off the answers. But it's absolute honor to be moderating a session with women who, for me, truly are the change agents of Indian sport. And these three have displayed courage, commitment, and passion that drives action. So let me start with Geeta. Geeta, in the last decade, how do you see women's sport has transformed in India?
अगर मैम बात करें तो पिछले 5-7 सालों में अगर हम देखते हैं तो मुझे काफ़ी चेंज हुआ है बाय परफॉर्मेंस अगर आप देखें एंड वुमेन्स स्पोर्ट्स अगर हम देखें इंडिया में तो काफ़ी यहाँ से यहाँ गया है स्पोर्ट्स और मुझे लगता है कि चाहे वो बॉक्सिंग हो, रेसलिंग हो, एथलेटिक्स हो या वेट लिफ्टिंग हो, तो ये जो स्पोर्ट्स हैं इनमें काफ़ी मुझे लगता है कि वुमेन्स ने काफ़ी बैडमिंटन में तो इन गेम्स में काफ़ी वुमेन्स ने बहुत ही अच्छा मुकाम भी हासिल किया है और मुझे लगता है कि गवर्नमेंट पिछले कुछ 5-7 सालों से जब से कॉमनवेल्थ गेम्स इंडिया में उसके बाद से खिलाड़ियों को फैसिलिटीज़ भी काफ़ी अच्छी मिली हैं और ट्रेनिंग के तो उसका काफ़ी इफेक्ट देखने को मिला.
Anju, what do you think are the game-changing incentives that the government has brought in to transform sport in country?
To great an extent, I think it's true because initial days it was just struggle, as Mary said, and only medals. Nothing was there. Even my time was also very less. Yeah, no shame to say that for my World Championship medal, government gave me 3 lakh rupees. But now athletes in all sport, they are getting a big amount, even from corporates, even from governments, even from state governments. And I think that is changing the game now. Initially, actually, our parents, they used to send kids only for studies and no one was ready to send their kids for sport. But now they know we can take sport as a career. So many of the athletes, even from the upper caste, upper level, middle class or upper level, they are coming to sport.
Come on.
So as a career, I think now sport is also an option and many are coming into sport. So that is, I think, changing the game.
I think we've just joined in, women cricket is doing fantastically well. And the question goes to you since we missed, how has Indian cricket for women changed or transformed Indian cricket in the in a decade?
It has. I'm glad that the audience feels, you yourself feel that the sport has changed. And I think it's the line that over the last, 30, 40 decades, we've been waiting to hear that there is a change in the game. There is a change in the shift of people following the women's game. There's a change in how people perceive women's cricket. And I'm not even going in the far that's saying that it's at par with men's cricket, because no, it's not at par with men's cricket, simply because of the following. And also that the women's team yet hasn't won a World Cup. To be fair, men's cricket has won many World Cups.
But we've already reached at that level. And, competing at the World Cup and missing it out is, in itself is a great achievement.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. No, I'm sorry, it isn't. Winning a World Cup is the achievement. Reaching the finals is well played.
But I think the journey traversed is important, that we've come this far.
As a player, again, I say this because I feel that we had the opportunities of winning a World Cup, but we didn't. So it's not that, we played well. So that's the only consolation and we can take from ourselves after having that kind of a performance. And I have been a part of the World Cup playing 11 final team as well in 2005. So I know that we missed it. Winning a World Cup, Suresh is here, I'm sure so many champions are here. Winning a gold medal, winning a medal at the Olympics and winning, winning a World Cup is a lot more different. But yes, I do get the sentiment that, making it to the finals repeatedly is definitely a shift and a very good one for the women's game, because you're competing with the best, whether it's England, whether it's Australia, competing with the best consistently. So I do give a lot of credit to the teams, to the players who've been consistent in getting there. But that elusive trophy that we keep posing with keeps coming back to India. I think it is still.
I'm sure you're going to get it shortly. Geeta, आपके पिताजी ने तो आपको और आपके बहनों को wrestling में डाल के, changed wrestling, which we perceived as a male-dominated sport. और आपको first medal जो Olympics में मिला था. How has it changed? और आपको किन मुसीबतों से सामना पड़ा? When you started it as a family of wrestlers, what was the challenges that you faced within your community?
मैम, जहाँ से तो हम हरियाणा में जिस गांव से हम हैं वहाँ पर मतलब अभी तो चरखी दादरी डिस्ट्रिक्ट हो गया, भिवानी डिस्ट्रिक्ट में हम आते हैं, तो वहाँ पर स्पोर्ट्स इतना नहीं था, मतलब एथलेटिक्स था लेकिन रेसलिंग बिल्कुल नहीं था, और वुमेन्स रेसलिंग तो बिल्कुल ही नहीं था, बॉक्सिंग फिर भी था. सो उस एरिया में एक तो सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज तो मुझे लगता है मेरे पिता के लिए रहा, क्योंकि उन्होंने उस वक्त अपनी बेटियों को पहलवान बनाने की सोची, और उन्होंने जब देखा कि 2000 में जब कर्मलेश्वरी जी ने वेट लिफ्टिंग मेडल जीता तो उनको इतने कैश अवार्ड मिले, उनका इतना नाम आया न्यूज़पेपर्स में, मीडिया में, तो उनको लगा कि ये भी तो हरियाणा की बेटी हैं और अगर ये ओलंपिक में मेडल जीत सकती हैं तो मेरी भी तो 4 बेटियां हैं, क्यों नहीं मेरी बेटियां भी एक दिन ओलंपिक से मेडल जीत लें। तो वहीं से उन्होंने शुरुआत की, घर में अखाड़ा खोल के उन्होंने हमें रेसलिंग में लगा दिया। तो सबसे ज़्यादा हमें अगर स्ट्रगल करना पड़ा तो एक तो हम लड़कों के साथ ट्रेनिंग करते थे, तो जिसमें मेरे पिताजी हमें बिल्कुल कि उनके बराबरी ट्रेनिंग करनी है, उनके जितना ही करनी है, वो एक मतलब काफ़ी करीबन 6-7 साल बहुत टफ गए हैं कि एक-एक दिन हम ऐसे ही रहता था कि आज का दिन चला जाए, कल का दिन चला जाए। और फिर जैसे हम हमारे हेयर बिल्कुल छोटे रहते थे और हम शॉर्ट्स पहनते थे, तो गाँव के लोग भी, समाज में भी लोगों का यही था कि कल को कौन शादी करेगा, लड़कियाँ भाग जाएँगी, तो मतलब इस तरह की चीज़ें। लेकिन हम बहुत लकी अपने आप को मानते हैं कि हमें ऐसे पिता मिले, उन्होंने हमें हमेशा यही कहा कि तुम मेहनत करते जाओ, लोग क्या बोलते हैं, समाज क्या बोलते हैं, छोड़ दो, परवाह ही नहीं करना, जब तक मैं हूँ तो सोचना ही नहीं है। तो मुझे लगता है कि लड़कियों के लिए खासकर जब पेरेंट्स उनके साथ होते हैं ना, तो आप जिस भी फील्ड में हो, आप जो भी मुकाम हासिल करना चाहते हैं, वो आपके लिए एक बहुत ही आसान राह हो जाती है।
I think that's the sentiment all of us, share, because a little while ago, Mary was talking about her struggles and how she started. And for all of us who've achieved in their respective field, I think unless there is encouragement from home, nothing can, be accomplished in a sense. So for Anju, I don't know your story. Maybe people would like to know your story, how you began, and what were the challenges that you faced as a young girl?
In my career, I can say again, it was my mother who was supporting me, and it was her dream. Actually, she wanted to become an athlete, but I am from a very orthodox family, and no one was there to support her. So I was always playing outside, and I was always running with the boys, and I was climbing all the trees, and I was just like doing all the things, all mischief. So she could realize that I am a different kid, not normal. It's a little abnormal. So, actually, extraordinary, yeah. So I started my career at the age of 5, and early morning, 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock, I had to go to ground, train from there straight to school, and she was very strict in my studies also. Straight to school, again back to ground. It was a hectic schedule for me. And then from there, she sent me to a school little far away. It was a remote village, and I was thinking it's a punishment for me, why she is doing this and why she is doing all these things to me. But later I realized it was good for my future and what she did. And now I am the same thing I am doing with my girl. My daughter, she is just 9, and she is asking why you are putting me into sports. I want to do something else. Why you are dragging me to all these things? So I am telling the same story to her. See, I did all the struggles. You also struggle.
Well, I think from an athlete to becoming a sports administrator for both you and Mary, how has that transition been? And as a sports administrator, what have you made some positive changes that is visible for all of us to know? And what are the recommendations, Mary, that you've made as Member of Parliament for women's sport in particular? If there is anything that you can share, because we're talking about women in sport.
See, it's even if we are talking about in administrator, actually, I am not interest also. Yes, they believe, they give me this responsibility. I really want to fulfill. Actually, fulfills in a sense that responsible, whether I have, being as a member of parliament and being a chair, I have, I've given me a 3 chair for the last a month ago. And of course, it was so difficult. And at the same time, I was injured. I am under, rehabilitation. I am under rehabilitation. I did my ACL surgery, and that was not a minor also. It's a very major, great
grade wala. And that time, even though I cannot bend my knee for long and straight, the hour only I'm doing. I miss out my all the rehab session, actually. And here, without me, they can't do all the meetings. I given me as a chair, three of, the committee, three chair. कैसे संभालूंगी बताओ? Or in the injury. And all being a chair, is not easy. Very sensitive issues.
So
and all.
Mary says
So-
competing athletes should not be administrators
Yes.
or member of parliament.
Actually, for me, it's very difficult. It's not easy at all. And I really want, there is I don't want in my life, there is this and that about talking about negative, but I already earned, I already, given so many medals for my country. Why should they talk about negativities? Marriage is this and that. Whether I didn't know about the real story. We are just as a chair committee, we are doing our duty. We are not going to justify whatever the happening. Okay, the justice will do somebody that wakil, advocate. They are doing their job only. It's not my job. Hearing, listening is my job. Is it? So, whether in my profession life, that anything, a controversy like I can talk, I can speak out, I can give a statement. It's correct or wrong, whatever. But here other responsibility that given me to, that is very difficult task. Actually, from other sports discipline, I cannot say, I cannot, talk on that, whether positive or negative, anything. So I quiet and listening. Okay. Sometimes I'm so irritating, मिलेगा तो ना कुछ करने की मन कर रहा है सच में बताऊंगी तो लेकिन I really control inside, that control bearing inside is also not easy. गुस्सा दिन बाहर निकालो और खत्म हो जाता अंदर में डाइजेस्ट करके क्या करूं ना करूं बहुत गुस्सा.
So,
okay, I am happy whatever happening for good. For good only.
I think
but that's only
that highlighted the issue of, my next question, which I'll ask Anju and for all of you, Geeta as well as for, is how can we make the sporting environment a safe environment for our young girls and for women and for parents and mothers to have that confidence, because the issue that, Mary is talking about, the sexual harassment hasn't come out in the open in Indian sport the way it recently came out. We've known many, many cases against coaches, and really the deterrent is not much. And the punishment is really not that great for, for action, for young children to have that confidence. So what would you think can change this scenario? Geeta, आपको भी यही सवाल पूछना चाहती हूँ कि how can you make it a safer environment?
मैम आपने बिल्कुल सही कहा. मुझे लगता है कि सबसे पहले तो चाहे वो स्पोर्ट्स में हो या मतलब किसी भी फील्ड में अच्छे लोगों का रहना बहुत जरूरी. जब तक अच्छे लोग लाइक जो पॉजिटिव जो लोग हैं, जो स्पोर्ट्स के लिए कुछ करना चाहते हैं, एक्चुअल में स्पोर्ट्स के लिए कुछ करना चाहते हैं, तो वो लोग जब तक आगे नहीं आएंगे तब तक चीज़ें ऐसी ही रहेंगी. और दूसरा आपने जब जो बात की सेक्सुअल हरासमेंट की, तो मुझे लगता है कि सबसे पहले अगर लड़कियां हैं तो उनके पेरेंट्स को एक तो बच्चियों को ये देख के कहीं भी सेंटर पे अगर छोड़ते हैं तो ये देखना चाहिए कि वो सेंटर कैसा है, कौन उसको रन कर रहा है, कैसे कोचेज हैं, या हम नेशनल कैंप्स में जाते हैं या फिर जहाँ पर भी हम रहते हैं, जहाँ पे भी हम ट्रेनिंग करते हैं, तो वहाँ पे हमें देखने की ज़रूरत है कि वहाँ पे कैसे लोग रहते हैं। गवर्नमेंट को भी देखने की जरूरत है कि जो अथॉरिटीज में जो लोग लगे हुए हैं या फेडरेशन में जो लोग हैं, तो वो उनका बिहेवियर कैसा है, तो इस बारे में उनको पता होना चाहिए। और अगर जब उनको पता चल जाता है तो उसके ऊपर इमीडिएटली एक्शन लेना चाहिए। बहुत बार ऐसा हुआ है कि हम गवर्नमेंट को हम बताते भी हैं कि ऐसा ही ठीक नहीं चल रहा, लेकिन उसके बाद जैसे मैरी जी ने बताया, प्रोमिसेस होते हैं लेकिन चीजें नहीं होती, तो वो जब तक उसमें सुधार नहीं होगा तब तक बात नहीं बनेगी।
So, Anju, how would you say, what is the responsibility of federations? Because government comes in later. Federation is that which runs, individual sport and manages these athletes at that young, tender age. So, what changes can be brought about in federations?
I was the chairperson of Athletes Commission in IOA. Now Mary is the chairperson. So when I was handling that, I heard a lot. And it was I never thought something like this is happening in sport. Now I am the chairperson in Athletic Federation also, harassment committee. So every federation should have a harassment committee, and that should lead by a women athlete, because something happened to women, they can directly come and tell us. There is no harm in that, and they can directly tell us. And in International Federation also actually supporting, and they are coming up with big ideas how to support women, how to make the environment safe for everyone, how to safeguard the athlete. So it is our responsibility. I think so, because I was an athlete and I was playing in a safe environment. And if something happened to our youngsters, it's our responsibility to support them. So I am taking it as an opportunity in Athletic Federation or anywhere. Anywhere I get an opportunity, I am there to support my youngsters, and it's my duty. See, tomorrow if my girl comes to sport and if she is suffering something, if nobody is there to support, what will be the situation then?
I'd like to ask you in this regard. We've learned a lot of lessons from BCCI as to how cricket has been promoted, and the learnings from it have been very, very positive for many federations to follow that step. In this regard, anything in particular that BCCI has done which can, change the environment and for other federations to learn from?
See, before I go to BCCI, I'll say the sport is actually run by cricket associations, state cricket associations, and in every state association, I won't want to say every because I don't know about everyone, but largely associations have channelized in a manner that they want to have a female cricket manager traveling with the team, any age group, female coach preferably, even if it's not a senior coach, it's an assistant coach. So, and I can clearly give my example. When I've been handling the sport for Delhi specifically, I never used to select a coach depending upon the gender. Coach is a coach, not a male or a female. But yes, to make life comfortable for the parents, for even the girls, I used to ensure that the manager was there as a female and she was present on the ground in all meetings every time. And no girl was ever in a scenario where she was isolated or having to have a meeting with, if at all there is a male member on the team. So just make things easier, be there in bunches, and make it a conducive environment. So at no point of time as a player, the thought should go whether I'm safe or not safe, because then your entire focus is going away from the sport and onto yourself. What the BCCI is doing is obviously providing those checklists and being very much proactive in ensuring that any such incident should not happen. Obviously, you cannot control everything, but you can only lay out paths or probably measures. And so far it's been pretty much corrected. And if not anything has come about, it has definitely been dealt with.
So I think recently the BCCI has taken a very important step of gender equality, equal pay, which was absolutely fantastic. Does this impact, it should impact the rest of the sport in the country. I think, Marycom, what are your suggestions to the gender equality? So what can we do in other sport? Anju and Mary, both of y'all can.
The gender equality in sport, I think that is a talk everywhere, and we are trying hard. But in sport, I think in my sport especially, there was no discrimination, women or men, because we were getting treated. It was equally treated. But of course, in cricket, the payment was very low. I think in tennis also. But now they are coming up with a big this thing that equally pay. And I'm really happy that this talk is happening everywhere, all over the world. And everybody, see, I don't know why it happened before, because see, we are doing a lot of work, we are multitasking people, we are caring our family, we are working, we are doing sport, and everywhere we can see women. But when it comes to I think the payment cricket or tennis, they are giving only half pay. I don't know why. What
So
was
maybe
wrong with
they've
them?
started the trend. You will see in the future. Well, I see the 0-0 time is up, but we can't close this session without asking the upcoming Asian Games. What are your expectations? We have a large contingent of 630 odd athletes representing the country. What is the performance you're expecting?
I think this Asian Games is going to highlight. We are expecting and we are projecting medals, but I am not. I don't want to say the number. I am a little scared about that. But the ministry and the Sports Authority of India, all the federations are working hard, and athletes are also gearing up well. And I think athletics is going to be the biggest medal-winning event. There I can say something in between 25 to 30 we are expecting, but finger crossed. But altogether, what we are projecting is 100. But I think if we get somewhere near, I'm really happy.
Geeta, in wrestling, what is your expectation?
Yes, 3-4 medals का तो हम कम से कम wrestling में लेके ही चल रहे हैं मैम, और ज़्यादा आ जाएंगे तो और ज़्यादा खुशी होगी.
Mary?
Maximum number medal आना चाहिए. मुझे तो I cannot tell you, I cannot say that this medal, gold or a silver or a bronze. I cannot say. Boxing it's a very tough game. One bout means no, even if you can't win, no chance. So it's a knockout match only. Once you lose. That's why I cannot say anything, but I pray and wish that bring a number of medal, maximum number medal. That is I wish.
So
and
from
pray.
the total of 69, the last Asian Games, let's hope to cross the 3-digit number. So wishing all of the Indian team the very best, and thank you for this wonderful interaction that we've had. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Could I please request all of you to stand together for a photo op, please? Ma'am, if you could just come in for a photo op, please. Thank you so much for that. A round of applause, please, for that discussion. And time now to welcome an absolute superstar onto the stage. While these chats were going on, at least 5 people have come up to me. Where is Suresh Raina? Where is Suresh Raina? Where is Suresh Raina? And I said, I am sorry, I am just a paid MC. I don't take that call. So I don't know where is Suresh Raina, but here he is standing in flesh and blood in front of you. Let me just tell you a bit about what Suresh has done in the field of cricket. An international cricket career that started in Sri Lanka 2005, giving so much to the sport and country over the next 13 years. World Cup winner 2011. More than 7,000 international runs. An absolute giant in the shortest format of the game. First Indian to score a T20 international century. First Indian to score a ton in all 3 formats of the game, 20, 50 and Test cricket. First batsman to score more than 5,000 IPL runs. I mean, that list could go on and on, but here's the most important one. An absolutely lovely human being. Please put your hands together and welcome on stage the one and only Suresh Raina. Anjum will be moderating this discussion with Suresh. But before Anjum comes here, anyone? I'm just going to ask a few questions to Suresh as well. Suresh, आप एशिया कप तो देख रही होगे. Too much to the broadcasters' dismay, India Pakistan नहीं हो रहा है. India versus Sri Lanka. Indian team is looking good because I think the eyes are always on Asia Cup तो जीतना है, लेकिन अब जो आगे विश्व कप आना है जो आपने जीता हुआ है 2011 में.
नहीं, बिल्कुल जिस तरीके से आप देखेंगे कि पाकिस्तान ने स्टार्ट किया था, 3 दिन का टेस्ट मैच हुआ, बारिश ही होती रही, बारिश ही होती रही.
3-day first class match हम लोग.
टॉस हुआ, वो लोग 3 दिन से मजदूरी कर रहे थे, हम लोग बैटिंग कर रहे थे. But I think the way Rohit have been handling the team, Bumrah came back really strong. उसके बाद कुलदीप यादव, he's gonna be the trump card. उसके बाद गिल का परफॉर्मेंस, शाहीन शाह अफरीदी को जिस तरह से काउंटर अटैक किया, उसके ओवरऑल देखेंगे फील्डिंग हैव बीन अमेजिंग. उसके बाद आप देखेंगे हार्दिक पांड्या को, वो बाबर को आउट करना. तो आई थिंक ओवरऑल बहुत अच्छा एरियाज कवर किया है. सारे डायमेंशन जो हैं, बुमराह अलग बॉलर हैं, शार्दुल अलग, हार्दिक अलग, सिराज अलग. उसके जडेजा और जो कुलदीप की जो तिकड़ी होगी अक्षर पटेल के साथ, मुझे लगता है कि आई थिंक रोहित ने अच्छी टीम पिक करी है. और उसके बाद एशिया कप के बाद देखेंगे ऑस्ट्रेलिया आ रही है, क्योंकि दे आर प्लेइंग सम सॉर्ट ऑफ ए डिफरेंट ब्रांड क्रिकेट. 370, 380 और ऑस्ट्रेलिया की जब इधर आएगी 3 मैचों का, तब एक बेटर पोजीशन होगी. खुदा ना खास्ता किसी को इंजरी नहीं होनी चाहिए, तो वो डिसाइड करेंगे वर्ल्ड कप का फिगर हमारा कितना जा रहा है.
मैं आपसे पूछना चाहता हूँ, क्योंकि अक्सर हम टैलेंट को बहुत तवज्जो देते हैं एंड देना भी चाहिए, बट व्हेन यू आर पार्ट ऑफ अ टीम एज बिग एज द इंडियन क्रिकेट टीम, और जब आप घर पे वर्ल्ड कप खेल रहे हो, डज इट टेक अ लॉट मोर देन जस्ट टैलेंट? इज इट द वाइब इन द टीम? इज इट माहौल जो आप जी हर स्टेडियम से हर एयरपोर्ट पे जा रहे हो? वीरू भाई अक्सर मेरे को कहते थे, जब एयरपोर्ट पे पहुंचते थे तो एटलीस्ट 10 लोग आते थे, वर्ल्ड कप जीतना, वर्ल्ड कप जीतना, वर्ल्ड कप जीतना, वर्ल्ड कप जीतना, और ये नॉन स्टॉप 1 महीना चलते रहता है. हाउ डू यू हैंडल ऑल ऑफ दैट एंड हाउ डज द वाइब ऑफ द टीम हेल्प यू हैंडलिंग ऑल ऑफ दैट?
नहीं, इट्स हेल्प्स अ लॉट जब आप अपने इंडियन फैंस के सामने खेलते हो. मुझे याद है 2011 वर्ल्ड कप में हम एक मैच हारे थे नागपुर में साउथ अफ्रीका के साथ. तो हम लोग को चोकर बोलने लगे थे, नहीं हार जाएंगे. तो सचिन ने फिर सबके रूम में टीवी चैनल हटा दिए, न्यूज़ चैनल, न्यूज़ पेपर बंद हो गया वो. फिर टीम बॉन्डिंग स्टार्ट हो गई हमारी. वो तो प्रेशर मुझे लगता है कि आई थिंक बीइंग ए इंडियन, आई थिंक यू वांट टू प्ले विद योर फैंस, यू वांट टू प्ले अराउंड द फैंस. I think when you have a leader like MS Dhoni, he makes sure everything is calm in the dressing room. And as you said about Virupa, he such a wonderful human being around the teammates. And Harbhajan Singh, Yuvraj Singh, Zaheer Khan, तो गौतम गंभीर, तो वो टीम का जो माहौल अलग है. विराट कोहली 100 बनाया बांग्लादेश में, उसके बाद वो टीम अलग था. आई थिंक दे वर गुड कैरेक्टर, गुड सेल्फ बिलीव एंड फुल ऑफ टीम बॉन्डिंग लाइक ब्रदर्स. आई थिंक वो प्रेशर तो रहेगा. वो स्पेशली अभी इंडिया में आप खेलेंगे, ये टीम का जो हो रहा है, ये एक अलग पॉजिटिव टीम है. लीडर सेम सिमिलर टू MS धोनी, आई वुड से. टीम को जिस तरह से कम्युनिकेशन कर रहे हैं, जिस तरीके से ऑफ द फील्ड मीटिंग हो रही है, तो मुझे लगता है कि आई थिंक बहुत अच्छे चांसेस हैं इस बार वर्ल्ड कप जीतने के.
Thank you so much for that, Suresh. Anjum is here, former India captain Anjum Chopra. Ladies and gentlemen, please put a hand together for them. It's time now for our final fireside chat session.
इसकी माइक की जरूरत नहीं थी, मेरी आवाज आई एम श्योर आप तक आई गई थी हंसने की. बट फर्स्ट एंड फॉरमोस्ट ऑफ कोर्स अभी मेरे को सवाल पूछा गया था ना कि वर्ल्ड कप विनिंग, आई थिंक इंडियन वुमेन्स टीम पहुंच गई है, 2-3 बार फाइनल हम खेले हैं. बिलीव मी, इट्स अ ग्रेट ऑनर. जब वो नेशनल एंथम तो खैर हर मैच के पहले ही बजता है आईसीसी इवेंट्स के अंदर, बट एवरी टाइम द नेशनल एंथम प्लेज एंड यू प्लेइंग अ फाइनल, तो उसकी एक फीलिंग ही अलग होती है. सो आई हैव एक्सपीरियंस दैट फीलिंग वंस. प्रेजेंट टीम में अब तो खैर प्लेयर्स हैं जिन्होंने एक्सपीरियंस किया है वुमेन्स टीम में, बट ऑफ कोर्स द बिगेस्ट, I feel, of course, the biggest honor for an individual is to play for the country. But obviously, Suresh Raina sitting alongside, he has experienced playing for India and he's experienced lifting that World Cup trophy. I'm sure abhi bhi har pal yaad hoga aapko.
नहीं बिल्कुल. और गॉड हैज बीन रियली काइंड। 2011 में जीतना प्रेशर था, पाकिस्तान वाला मैच बहुत डिफिकल्ट था, उसके बाद आप देखेंगे ऑस्ट्रेलिया वाला, दे वर द वर्ल्ड चैंपियन, 5 बार जीत चुके हैं वो वर्ल्ड कप। वो मैच मुझे लगता था कि बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट था, जिस तरह से हमारे विकेट गिरे वो। बट आई थिंक आई वुड से कि इट्स ऑल टीम एफर्ट, जिस तरीके से गैरी ने मेहनत किया। वी हैड वन mental coach. He was our character guy around the dressing room. Then MS Dhoni was a very good leader. पूरे टूर्नामेंट में रन नहीं बन रहे थे, फाइनल में गए, फिर मुरलीधरन को इतने साल खेला उन्हें सीएसके के साथ, फिर युवराज सिंह एवरी टाइम इज गिविंग अस अ ब्रेक थ्रू। देन यू सी वीरू भाई 5 ओवर में 70 रन बोर्ड पे लगा देते थे वो, फिर सचिन पारी 100 मतलब, फिर भज्जूपा का वो परफॉर्म, मतलब आप देखेंगे, फिर जहीर खान वाज हाईएस्ट विकेट टेकर इन द वर्ल्ड कप। तो आई थिंक पूरी टीम एक अलग तरीके से कैरेक्टर था वो, जिस तरीके से गौती भाई ने वो नॉक खेला, बहुत सारे ऐसे फॉर्म छोटे छोटे परफॉर्मेंस होंगे, बट आई थिंक वर्ल्ड कप जीतना सबके लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। जिस तरह से 3-4 महीने यूनाइटेड रहा हमारा इंडिया, फैंस ने दुआ करी, और 83 के बाद जीते नहीं थे हम लोग 50 ओवर्स का वर्ल्ड कप, वो एक अलग टैग था। और सचिन तेंदुलकर 6ठा वर्ल्ड कप खेल रहे थे अपना। अब इमेजिन करो, वर्ल्ड के ग्रेटेस्ट बैट्समैन, गॉड ऑफ क्रिकेट, वो कह रहे हैं कि नहीं खाना वाना छोड़ो, आपको मैच जीतना है। तो प्रेशर था, बट आई थिंक एट द सेम टाइम वी गॉट लकी, वी गॉट लॉट ऑफ सपोर्ट फ्रॉम द फैमिली। मम्मी पापा ने बहुत दुआएं करी, दोस्तों ने कहा नहीं अब तो जीतना ही, हारना ही नहीं है। आई थिंक दैट्स मेक अ लॉट ऑफ डिफरेंस।
वो मैच मुझे याद है मोहाली के बाद, जब पाकिस्तान से मैच जीते थे और बहुत सारे डिग्निटरीज मैच देखने के लिए भी आए हुए थे। जब वो मैच खत्म हुआ था तो एक एक्साइटमेंट थी और एक काइंड ऑफ रिलीफ था, ऑब्वियसली बिकॉज वी एक्सपीरियंस दैट काइंड ऑफ प्रेशर अगेंस्ट पाकिस्तान, बट दैट दोस 2.5-3 days क्विक टर्न अराउंड, ऐसी क्या चीज थी? क्योंकि 2007 में भी आप वर्ल्ड कप जीते थे, और दैट इज द T20 वर्ल्ड कप ऑफ कोर्स, लेकिन 2011 में वो जो 3 दिन थे ना, आफ्टर द मोहाली मैच अगेंस्ट पाकिस्तान सेमीफाइनल एंड देन गेटिंग टू वानखेड़े टू प्ले द फाइनल, वो 3 दिन क्या थोड़ा सा प्रेशर जो सेल्फ क्रिएटेड होता है ऑफ कोर्स व्हाइल स्पेशली अगेंस्ट प्लेइंग अगेंस्ट पाकिस्तान कम था, या कहें फाइनल का एक अलग फीलिंग थी? प्रेशर तो होता ही नहीं है ना, बिकॉज आपको पता है कि सामने वाली भी उतनी मेहनत करके आई है जैसे आप खेल के आए हो।
नहीं, प्रेशर नहीं बोलूंगा। आई थिंक मुंबई में ना उस दिन अंजू बहुत ज्यादा ह्यूमिडिटी था वो, आपने देखा होगा, श्रीशांत ने 4-5 ओवर प्रैक्टिस में ही डाल दिया वो, तो पाजी भी गुस्सा हुए कि फिर उसके बाद उसने 3 ही ओवर डाला वो। उसके बाद देखेंगे कि श्रीलंका आई थिंक नोन टू बी फाइनलिस्ट टीम इन एवरी आईसीसी ट्रॉफी, तो संगाकारा, महिला जयवर्धने, फिर मुरलीधरन सर, बहुत सारे ऐसे उनके पास मैच विनिंग प्लेयर थे, तो पता था फाइनल ही हारना नहीं है वो, क्योंकि टेंडेंसी होती जब आप टॉस दोबारा हुआ था, फिर थोड़ा ड्यू आया बाद में वो, फिर एकदम से पाजी आउट हुए, वीरू भाई आउट हुए, उसके बाद जो पार्टनरशिप विराट ने और गौती भाई ने किया और माही भाई का पार्टनरशिप हुआ, तो आई थिंक उसके बाद मैं भी था पीछे बैठा हुआ था। तो इम्पोर्टेंट था कि जिस तरह से बिलीव था ड्रेसिंग रूम में, जिस तरह से एक अलग सा कामनेस था, आई वुड से कि 3-4 महीने का कैंपेन था, वो कैंप चल रहे थे सारे के सारे, बट आई वुड से कि जो फैंस की दुआएं ना वो लगती होगी। क्रिकेट ना बहुत लक बाय चांस है वो, क्योंकि कभी कैच छूटता है, कभी 99 पे अंपायर आउट नहीं देता, अब तो डीआरएस चल रहा है वो, तो आई थिंक बहुत सारी दुआएं लगी हैं जो हम लोग देश के लिए वर्ल्ड कप।
नहीं, वो तो नोवाक जोकोविच ने भी बोल दिया था विंबलडन हारने के बाद कि कई पॉइंट हैं जो मेरे फेवर में चले गए, तभी पीट सैम्प्रस या प्रोबेबली ऐसे खिलाड़ियों को मैं हरा पाया रेगुलरली, और कुछ नहीं गए, सो दैट वाज वन, बट द विक्ट्री अगेन उनके लिए यूएस ओपन में एक अलग थी गेम चेंजर। सो यू नो एज क्रिकेटर्स हमें तो पता है कि हम सुपरस्टिशियस होते हैं, लेकिन हम कभी मानते नहीं इस बात
आप
को।
हैं?
मैं अब क्रिकेट कहाँ खेल रही हूँ?
नहीं, जब आप खेलते तो मुझे याद है, मैं रेलवे कर्नल सी स्टेडियम में, मैं और मेरा दोस्त नीरज देखने आए थे, हमारे रणजी ट्रॉफी का मैच चल रहा था, तो आप बीडीएम के बैट से कुछ लाल आपने कुछ वो पहना हुआ था कुछ।
नहीं, मैं नहीं, हेडबैंड तो वो हेलमेट को बैलेंस करने के लिए पहना होगा, क्योंकि तब थोड़े से लंबे थे बाल। वो इसलिए लंबे थे एक्चुअली, बता भी दूं, क्योंकि ना हेलमेट में जब थोड़े से लंबे होते थे तो वो फंसते थे, तो ज्यादा लंबी पोनीटेल बनाना ज्यादा आसान था, सो दैट इट्स इजियर कि हेलमेट भी ढंग से बैठे रहे। अब ध्यान बालों पे रहेगा तो बॉल पे कहाँ जाएगा। बट थोड़ा बहुत तो सुपरस्टिशियस थी, थोड़ा बहुत ये थी कि तरीके से कोई, फॉर मी इट वाज नेवर अबाउट रश्ड अप, कोई बोले जल्दी पैड करो, पता चला ग्लव इधर गिरा, बैट इधर गिरा, भाग रहे हैं तो आप ट्रिप कर गए, तो वो नहीं करना चाहती थी। मैं हमेशा चाहती थी कि जब मैं बैटिंग करने जाऊं तो तसल्ली से आराम से जाऊं, ताकि जो मेरी ब्रीदिंग है वो बिल्कुल नॉर्मल हो, ऐसा ना हो हपड़ा धपड़ी में जा रहे हो, क्योंकि प्रेशर तो अंदर है ना, बाहर क्यों लेना। आप थे?
नहीं, मैं महामृत्युंजय मंत्र पढ़ता था हर मैच से पहले, जब भी घर से निकलते थे। पापा ने बोला था ये मंत्र करना, ऊपर वाला सब अच्छा करेगा, वो पढ़ा, फिर मैच ही नहीं खेला मैं स्टार्टिंग के वर्ल्ड कप के, फिर मैंने 3-4 बार 100 बार पढ़ने लगा, फिर धीरे धीरे और पास आ रहा था, फिर सेमीफाइनल फाइनल आ रहे थे, मैंने कहा नहीं काम कर रहा है मंत्री।
नहीं, आप खेलते तो आप अभी भी हो, लंबे शॉट्स तो अभी भी लगाते हो, पर अभी भी उतना ही पढ़ के जाते हो मंत्र, या अब
रोज पूजा होती है घर में, जब भी मॉम रहती है घर पे और माय वाइफ, और एक जो हमारा जो रिचुअल्स है आई थिंक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है वो। और अभी डैड है नहीं इस दुनिया में, तो वो बच्चों को एक शिक्षा दे के गए हैं, तो आई थिंक वी हैव बीन फॉलोइंग दैट, वी आर लकी कि ऊपर से आशीर्वाद देते हैं बच्चों को।
अभी हम बात कर रहे थे कि वर्ल्ड कप की, कि युवराज बॉलिंग क्या करते थे, अच्छा स्पेल श्री ने जब नहीं डाला था तो युवराज हैड टू बोल मोर ओवर्स। डू यू फील कि जैसे आप बॉलिंग ऑलराउंडर्स, बैटिंग, बॉलिंग एंड क्वालिटी आप डालते थे गेंद, युवराज, रोहित कुड बोल, although he was not in that team, but Viru could bowl a few overs. Do you feel kahin na kahin we are missing those, your kind of quality all-rounders in this Indian team?
I would say absolutely. I think we're also lacking the left-arm fast bowler also. That's why we're getting a lot of problem. Trent Bolt और अभी शहीन शाह ने भी आउट किया था, क्योंकि जही खान, आरपी सिंह और आशीष नेहरा के अलावा आप देखेंगे अर्शदीप सिंह ही थे वो। जब नेट पे एक बॉलर आता है 22 कदम से भागता हुआ, कि थ्रो डाउन आप भी इतने प्रैक्टिस किए, वो मूवमेंट नहीं बनता, वो जब तक आप बॉल आंख से नहीं देखते हो, सीम नहीं देखते हो। फिर आई थिंक उसके बाद बीच में रोहित ने डाला, विराट को थोड़ा सा बैक प्रॉब्लम था, इसलिए उसका एक्शन थोड़ा सा डिफरेंट था वो। बट नाउ वी हैविंग लाइक 3 फास्ट बॉलर, हार्दिक पांड्या, कुलदीप यादव, जडेजा, 6 बॉलर ऑप्शन है, क्योंकि उस टाइम पे एक बॉल होता था, अभी 2 नया बॉल आ गए। कहीं रोहित ने वो कवर किया, बट आई थिंक आई वुड से श्रेयस अय्यर भी बॉलिंग में काफी मेहनत किया उन्होंने बीच में वो। फिर उसके बाद अभी रोहित ने भी प्रेस में बोला था कि जरूरत पड़ेगी तो शर्मा जी का बेटा बॉलिंग डालेगा।
मुझे लगता है शर्मा जी के बेटे को तो डालनी चाहिए जरूर, वो एक अलग ऑप्शन निकल कर आता है। बट बिकॉज वी आर इनटू द वर्ल्ड कप, हम एशियन, आई मीन कल बहुत अच्छा मैच जीता, लास्ट बॉल पे जीता इनफैक्ट श्रीलंका ने। बट जब आप, बिकॉज, एंड आई एम स्पेसिफिकली आस्किंग दिस क्वेश्चन बिकॉज वी आर इन नियरिंग वर्ल्ड कप, दैट आई एम नॉट इवन सेइंग कि इंडिया कितनी स्ट्रांग है, नहीं, हमें पता है अच्छी टीम है, हमें पता है कि हम जीत सकते हैं, लेकिन जब आप फर्स्ट ग्लांस देखते हो इस टीम को, एंड एज एन इम्प्रेशन व्हेन यू से कि हम 2011 में कैसे खेलते खेलते वर्ल्ड कप जीते थे, 2023 में अब हम वर्ल्ड कप ईयर है, एंड वी आर स्टिल अ पार्ट ऑफ द टीम इवन इफ वी नॉट इन द प्लेइंग 11 और अराउंड द टीम, बट व्हेन यू कंपेयर इट, यू से कि ये टीम ज्यादा स्ट्रॉन्गर है सीइंग बैटिंग बॉलिंग ऑप्शंस, या हमारा टीम जो था 11 वाला वो ज्यादा बेहतर था?
नहीं, ये टीम ज्यादा स्ट्रॉन्ग लगा मुझे, जिस तरह से हमारी पेस फैक्ट्री है। सिराज एक अलग बॉलिंग, टॉप 10 ऑलराउंडर में है, मतलब टॉप 10 फास्ट बॉलर में शामी के हाथ से अलग ही छूटता है बॉल। और जो शार्दुल है, उन लॉर्ड ठाकुर इसलिए बोलते हैं, उनको ब्रेक थ्रू हमेशा देते हैं। और जो जिस तरह से बुमराह ने लास्ट गेम में पाकिस्तान की गेंदबाजी, आई थिंक टीम थोड़ा एक हंट कर रहे हैं सारे के सारे फास्ट बॉलर। और मुझे लगता है इंडियन विकेट आप देखेंगे, मौली में खेल रहे हैं, अहमदाबाद में खेल रहे हैं, धर्मशाला में खेल रहे हैं, तो वो सूट करेगा हमारी। उसके नीचे देखो विराट, रोहित, गिल, और गिल एक अलग से 60 का एवरेज है उसका, वो 1 साल से पूरा अच्छे जबरदस्त फॉर्म में है वो। और जो रोहित का जो एक करिश्मा है, आई थिंक ही इज एस्ट्यूट लीडर, जिस तरीके से वो सपोर्ट करता है प्लेयर को, उसका जो जितना योगदान है उसने, मुझे लगता है राहुल भाई और रोहित की जो जोड़ी है ना, जो धोनी और गैरी भाई की थी, गैरी क्रिस्टियन और धोनी भाई की थी, तो इम्पोर्टेंट होगा किस तरह से एग्जीक्यूट होगा। आई होप कि कोई इंजरी ना हो, क्योंकि अभी ये इसके बाद सीधा ये मैच खेलेंगे, फिर 5 2020 मैचेस भी हैं, तो बहुत सारे मैचेस होंगे आई थिंक। बट आई थिंक मोस्ट ऑफ द एरिया दे हैव कवर्ड, बट दे जस्ट नीड टू 8-9 घंटे पीसफुल सोना है, अच्छा बॉडी का ध्यान रखना है। और वर्ल्ड कप आई थिंक इज गोना बी इम्पोर्टेंट, प्रेशर बहुत होने वाला है, क्योंकि विराट एक ऐसा प्लेयर है उस टीम में जो जीता हुआ है वर्ल्ड कप, उसको एहसास है उस ट्रॉफी का। आई एम श्योर रोहित मिस्ड आउट इन 2011, ही आल्सो मस्ट बी पम्प्ड अप, आई नीड टू kiss that trophy, I need to bring that trophy back to Wankhede. तो बहुत सारी होप है, but I'm sure they're gonna do really well.
जब हम आजकल इतने सारे क्रिकेटर्स देखते हैं, यू नो वी टॉकिंग अबाउट ऑप्शंस की, और जैसे ऑलराउंडर नहीं है लेकिन फास्ट बॉलर्स बहुत सारे आ गए हैं, जसप्रीत है, शामी है, एंड द बैटरी गोज ऑन, द नेम लिस्ट गोज ऑन, हमारे पास प्रसिद्ध कृष्णा का भी ऑप्शन है जो हम रख सकते हैं। सो ये जो इंक्रीज ऑफ प्लेयर्स है, या हमारी नजर जा रही है, ऑफ कोर्स आईपीएल इज वन ऑफ द massive reasons why we have seen so many players come through, but you also say कि इतने सारे क्रिकेट टूर्नामेंट्स हो रहे हैं, हर स्टेट में क्रिकेट लीग हो रही है, हर स्टेट में कंसिस्टेंटली क्रिकेट हो रही है, क्या इसने भी मदद की है?
जी बिल्कुल, राजस्थान में हुई, अभी सौराष्ट्र में हुई, उत्तर प्रदेश में भी स्टार्ट हुई है। बहुत सारे प्लेयर, हम जब कैंप में जाते थे ट्रायल देके, यूपी के लड़के 2 ओवर के बाद बाहर हो जाते थे। अभी कोई शामली से मुजफ्फरनगर, लखनऊ, बहुत सारे ऐसे बच्चे देखे जो टैलेंटेड थे, मैंने कभी नहीं देखे, जो 2018 में मैं खेल रहा था यूपी के लिए। अब जैसे जैसे प्लेटफॉर्म है, एज यू ब्रिलियंटली सेड कि जो टैलेंट बाहर आ रहा है, आपके पास एक फ्रेंचाइजी का प्रेशर है जो आपको लुक आफ्टर करते हैं, दे पे यू वेरी वेरी गुड मनी, एट द सेम टाइम वी गेट लॉट ऑफ रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑल्सो। प्लेयर ऑल्सो गेटिंग स्मार्ट, उनके अपने कोचेज हैं, मेंटल टफनेस कोचेज हैं, अपने फिजियो हैं, अपने डॉक्टर हैं, डाइटिशियन है, क्योंकि सब क्रिकेट का जो क्राइटेरिया बहुत चेंज हो गया है वो। और उसके बाद देखिए इंजरी का जो एनसीए में अभी काफ़ी सारे अच्छे डॉक्टर्स हैं और लक्ष्मण भाई बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं उधर, और प्लेयर भी अंदर से एक बहुत रिस्पॉन्सिबल हो गया. एवरीवन इज मैरिड, दे हैव ए फैमिली, दे हैव किड्स, दे आर मोर रिस्पॉन्सिबल टुवर्ड्स देयर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. मुझे लगता है कि ये अलग ही जोन है, और बहुत चांसेस हो गए इस बार वर्ल्ड कप जीतने के लिए. जो आपने अच्छा बोला कि फास्ट बॉल पूरे अच्छी बेल्ट से आ रहे हैं, लेकिन वो जिगरे से बड़े स्ट्रांग है वो, क्योंकि गेंदबाजी ना हार्ट से होती है. बॉडी तो आप कभी इंजर्ड होते फिर भी आप 5-10 ओवर का स्पेल डाल देते हो. वो शारीरिक ताकत और मानसिक ताकत बहुत जरूरी है.
एंड आई थिंक कहीं ना कहीं फाइनेंशियल सिक्योरिटी ने बहुत रोल प्ले किया, बिकॉज जब भी कोई पहले मैचेस खेलते थे तो ऑब्वियसली इतनी अच्छी पे स्केल नहीं होती थी. अब क्योंकि अच्छे आप रीजनेबली भी अच्छे हो तो आप रेकनिंग में आते हो, फिर आप अच्छे और अच्छे हो जाते हो तो आपको फाइनेंशियल सिक्योरिटी मिल जाती है.
वो तो है, और वाइफ भी मैच देखने जाते हैं, उसका भी प्रेशर होता है.
तैयार होके जाना पड़ता है, उस पर भी प्रेशर
यार
होता
हो
है.
गया, उसका हस्बैंड आउट हो गया, आप सोच लो.
नहीं, मैं तो कह रही हूँ, लड़कियों की तरफ से कह रही हूँ कि उसको भी ज्यादा तैयार होके जाना पड़ता है, क्योंकि कैमरा तो डलेगा ना. तो वो अलग प्रेशर है.
सबको रन बनाने पड़ते हैं. मिडिल ऑर्डर का सोचो जिसको 10 ही ओवर मिलते होंगे.
और वो बताओ कि मैं पैड पहन के बैठा रहा, बैटिंग ही नहीं आई मेरी.
बहुत बार हुआ है.
लेकिन देखो अब तो आपने एक चीज कर ली, क्योंकि आप लगातार क्रिकेट खेलते हो. हम तो आप देखते रहते हैं कि आपने यहाँ रन बनाए, यहाँ रन बनाए. एज अ क्रिकेटर, यू नो, how does one keep that fire burning alive, because it's never easy. हम बात करते हैं कि प्रेजेंट प्लेयर्स की बॉडीज पे कितना लोड पड़ता है, पर जो फुल टाइम एक्टिव क्रिकेट नहीं भी खेल रहा वो भी बहुत अच्छी तरीके से बैटिंग करता है. आप जानते हो गौतम भी खेलता है, यूसुफ भी खेलता है, सब लोग खेलते हैं. आप सब लोग क्रिकेट खेलते हो, कैसे मैनेज करते हो?
आई थिंक वो पैशन, आपने एक अच्छी बात बोली ना, पहले नेशनल एंथम जब आता है ना दिमाग में, तो आप देश के लिए खेलना चाहते हो, अपने अपने उन कोचेस के लिए खेलना चाहते हो जिन्होंने आपको अच्छी शिक्षा दी, अपने परिवार के लिए खेलना चाहते हो. फिर उसके बाद इतनी लीग्स होगी तो आपको एक फिटनेस मेंटेन रखनी है अपनी, और उसके बाद वो जुनून है. आप अभी खेल सकते हो 40-45 तक, कोशिश भी करोगे तो फिर माइंड और बॉडी का डायमेंशन चेंज हो जाएगा. आप कोशिश, क्योंकि क्रिकेट बहुत ज़्यादा एक एडवांस हो गई है, उसमें काफ़ी सारी अभी रूल्स चेंज हो गए हैं. अभी T10 भी स्टार्ट हो गए, T20 भी स्टार्ट हो गए. अभी राजस्थान में हो रही है, जैसे आपने बोला हर स्टेट में लीग हो रही है. यूपी में भी चली रही है, वो सारा उधर मैचेस हो रहे हो, तो बहुत अच्छा है. मतलब आई थिंक जो सिलेक्शन पैनल है, मुझे चाहता हूँ कि दिल्ली में लीग हो वो, क्योंकि दिल्ली में जो टैलेंट होना चाहिए वो
सब चाहते हैं इस बात को लेकर.
तो आप कुछ करिए दिल्ली के लिए.
सब चाहते हैं ये कि दिल्ली में भी लीग हो. बट उन्होंने अनाउंस करी है कि मेंस की तो अनाउंस करी नहीं है, लड़कियों की जरूर अनाउंस कर दी है कि करेंगे. मेंस की जल्द आ रही है, कमिंग सून शॉर्टली, पर वाले पे पर अभी दिल्ली में वर्ल्ड कप हो रहा है, फोकस वर्ल्ड कप पे रखते हैं. बट अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट, आई थिंक आप बहुत यंग टैलेंट को भी देखते हो. यू नो, आप ट्रैवल खुद इतना करते हो, चाहे क्रिकेट के लिए करो, चाहे आप इनकरेजमेंट के लिए करो, खेलने के लिए करो, आप बहुत यंग टैलेंट देखते हो. सो जब आप किसी प्लेयर को देखते हो, व्हाट इज इट जो आपको सबसे ज्यादा भाता है?
आई थिंक उसका एटीट्यूड, कि मुझे याद है जब मैं 98 में, मैं कभी मुरादनगर से गाजियाबाद नहीं गया था, क्योंकि 20-25 मिनट का रास्ता था. मैं सीधा लखनऊ गया 98 में. वहाँ पे सारा कुछ खुद करना, अपना सोना खुद, -2 टेम्परेचर, रजाई सब, स्कूल यूनिफॉर्म खुद करना था, क्योंकि घर में मम्मी थी, भाई लोग, सबसे छोटा था घर में. तो जब एक चाह होती है ना, तो वहाँ राह होती है. आप जिस तरीके से आप अपने, मैंने इतना भी नहीं सोचा था कि मैं खेलूंगा, लेकिन धीरे धीरे आपको सीनियर मिलते गए. बट आपके अंदर जुनून होना बहुत जरूरी है. अगर आप किसी चीज को अगर शिद्दत से इंजॉयमेंट से चाह रहे हो, किसी चीज को, चाहे वो क्रिकेट हो या कुछ भी आपका बिजनेस हो, आई थिंक वो इंजॉयमेंट बहुत जरूरी है. वो इंजॉयमेंट रहेगा ना तो आपको एवरीडे डिफरेंट लगता था. वो इसलिए फिर यूपी के लिए खेले. एयर इंडिया ने बड़ा सपोर्ट किया, वो स्कॉलरशिप मिलती थी 10,000 रुपये, मतलब पापा की तनख्वाह भी नहीं थी वो. तो वो आपको हेल्प करता था आपके क्रिकेटिंग गेयर्स के लिए, आपकी स्पाइक्स के लिए. फिर उसके बाद फ्लाइट में कभी नहीं बैठे थे, ट्रेन में 2 दिन में पहुंचते थे. तो इंडिया स्कॉलरशिप मिला था, उन्होंने फिर 2 घंटे में बॉम्बे पहुंचा दिया.
फ्री की टिकटें भी देते हैं?
फ्री की टिकटें हाँ मिलती थी, बट वो कम से
जाने के लिए, खेलने जाने के लिए,
हाँ
खेलते हुए
25 ओवर भी कराते थे. तो आई थिंक वो एक रास्ता मिलता जाता है. बट आई थिंक वही, जैसे आप हॉस्टल का कल्चर उत्तर प्रदेश में काफ़ी है, लखनऊ में है, कानपुर में अभी लीग स्टार्ट हुई है. तो आई थिंक वो पता चल जाता है कि जब आपके, और फैमिली का बड़ा सपोर्ट था. जैसे आप बीच में बात कर रहे थे मेरी कॉम से, गीता से, अंजू मैम से, कि वो एक फैमिली का पर्सन होना हो आसपास बहुत, जिससे आप कम्युनिकेट कर सकते हो. क्योंकि नाउ डेज बच्चे अगर सेलेक्ट नहीं होते थे, दे हैव लॉट ऑफ एंग्जाइटी, दे हैव लॉट ऑफ डिप्रेशन. सो हैव एक फादर थे जो आर्मी में थे, वो मुझे बताते थे कैसे करना. मेरी सिस्टर बहुत क्लोज थी मेरे, तो खेले, उसकी शादी में भी नहीं गया, उसका भी मलाल है मुझे. तो बहुत सारी चीजें होती है. बट आई थिंक जब आप किसी चीज को चाहते हो, खेलना चाहते हो देश के लिए, अपने उत्तर प्रदेश के लिए, अपने क्लब के लिए, अपनी फ्रेंचाइजी के लिए, अपनी ऑफिस टीम के लिए, तो दिल तो चाहना चाहिए एंजॉयमेंट करने के लिए.
नहीं, बिल्कुल जाना चाहिए और इनफैक्ट आपके बैच के तो जितने बहुत सारे लड़के इकट्ठे निकल कर आए, इनफैक्ट गर्ल्स भी हैं, दीप्ति शर्मा वेरी प्रोमिनेंट ऑलराउंडर इंडियन वुमेन्स टीम में मौजूद हैं, पूनम यादव है, बहुत सारे खिलाड़ी, लेकिन आपके बैच में मुझे याद है आपसे थोड़े से सीनियर मोहम्मद कैफ, आपके साथ साथ निकल कर आए पीयूष चावला भी हैं। वो एक अलग सा बैच था, ऐसा नहीं कि उसके पहले क्रिकेटर्स नहीं आए या उसके बाद नहीं आएंगे, लेकिन वो एक बड़ा अलग सा बैच था। तो जब आप लोग आप मिलते हो, आई एम श्योर आप एज अ ब्रॉडकास्टर भी हो, पीयूष को भी मिलते हो, मोहम्मद कैफ को भी मिलते हो, खेलते वक्त भी बात करते हो, तो जब आप बात करते हो, डू एवर लुक बैक एंड से वो दिन थे, याद है लखनऊ में हॉस्टल में कभी किसी ने किसी के लिए चाय बनाई होगी?
चाहे हम ना उधर टेढ़ी पुलिया थी लखनऊ में,
हाँ।
हमारा था गुरु गोविंद सिंह स्पोर्ट्स कॉलेज, सामने ही मिलती थी वो, तो 2 रुपये 1 रुपये की चाय थी, मिठाई समोसे वो मिलते थे वो। फिर जैसे जैसे टूर होने लगा तो उस टाइम फिर चाय धोनी पे बहुत चाय बनाते, तो उनको बड़ा शौक था। फिर पीयूष, मैं, आरपी, ज्ञानेंद्र पांडे आप जानते, रिजवान शमशाद, सुदीप त्यागी, प्रवीण कुमार, वो पहलवान फैमिली से। तो एक बार लखनऊ में हम गए थे, लखनऊ जब गए तो मैं भी गाजियाबाद का थोड़ा सा तू तड़ाक वाली लैंग्वेज थी, तो मैंने मम्मी को बोला, मम्मी हम लोग आ रहे हैं, हम खाना खाएंगे। मम्मी ने पीछे देखा कितने लोग खाना खाने आ रहे हैं, मैंने कि हम खाएंगे, हमें भूख लगी। तो हम तहजीब आ गई थोड़ी, वहाँ सीखने लगे। मम्मी ने वो पूरा कड़ी चावल का वो राजमा, पता नहीं कितने लोग आ रहे हैं, वो तो मैं ही था घर पे।
अदब से बात करिए, हम लखनऊ से आ रहे हैं। लेकिन वो आपने चाय और समोसे की बात करी ना, वो तो जब कैच हाई कैच सामने फील्डिंग कोई करा रहा होता था, वो कहता था ये वाला कैच अगर पकड़ लेगा तो चाय के पैसे मैं दूंगा, छोड़ दिया तो तूने पिलाने सबको।
कोसा बोलते थे, कोसा बोले तूने अगर 20 बॉल नहीं खेली ना, वो 80 विकेट लखनऊ में गोमती नगर में कोच थे कि समोसे खिलाने पड़ेंगे, तो 20 बॉल आपको सरवाइव करनी, लेकिन बॉल नहीं, वो समोसे दिख रहे थे, खिलाने पड़ेंगे सर।
और वो सामने से जो बॉलर भी डाल रहा होता है ना, सडनली उसकी पेस तेज हो जाती है। ऐसा लगता है कि जो विकेट अच्छी थी जिसमें टाइम हो रही थी वो ऊपर से जा रही होती, तो अब सर्वाइवल का एक मोड एकदम से किक इन होता है, वहां पे खेलने का स्ट्रोक खेलने का थॉट तो आता ही नहीं है। बट क्या कभी आप डू यू मिस दोस डेज एवर?
नहीं, एब्सोल्युटली, आई थिंक लॉकडाउन में थे हम लोग, जब मिलते थे बात करते थे कि ऐसी साइड की कितना दूर आ गए हैं, हम लोग बात भी करते थे बीच में। फिर क्रिकेट वही ना, वो कोच साहब वही बोलते थे कि आई थिंक वही वॉच द बॉल, प्ले द शॉट, वो माइंड में ज़्यादा वो थिंकिंग नहीं, मैं आज 100 बनाऊंगा या 200 बनाऊंगा, 3 सेशन खेलना पड़ेगा। फिर फॉर्मेट चेंज हुआ 2007 में, देखिए फिर 2020 आ गया, वो उसका डायमेंशन बिल्कुल चेंज हो गया। अभी फिर जैसे आपने बोला कि दिल्ली की टीम वुमेन लीग स्टार्ट हो रही है, फिर WPL भी स्टार्ट हो गया, तो क्रिकेट में भी इतना अच्छा लगता है कि बेटियां भी खेलती हैं, वो सब हर जगह से। आपने यूपी के एक हेमलता काला भी होती थी, एक लेफ्ट आर्म स्पिनर, राइट?
नीतू डेविड लेफ्ट
नीतू
आर्म
डेविड
स्पिनर है,
कानपुर।
हेमलता काला बैटर मिडल ऑर्डर।
हाँ, वो भी खेलते थे, वो देखते थे कानपुर हॉस्टल में। आई थिंक ग्राफ बहुत चेंज हो गया है। जैसे उन्होंने बोला कि एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन हम लोग की लकी है कि हम लोग की स्टेट एसोसिएशन संभालती है, डिस्ट्रिक्ट भी संभालती है, एंड वी लकी वी प्ले द स्पोर्ट जहाँ पर यू गेट लॉट ऑफ स्पॉन्सर और हर जगह मैचेस होते हैं। तो आई थिंक ग्राफ एक अच्छे डायरेक्शन में जा रहा है, बट ये वर्ल्ड कप जीत गए तो मुझे लगता है क्रिकेट और ऊंचाई होते जाएगा।
बहुत अच्छा जाएगा। और अब आई एम श्योर, क्योंकि अब आप ब्रॉडकास्टर भी हो, आप कमेंट्री भी करते हो, जब आप गेम को इस तरफ से देखते हो, बिकॉज अभी तक तो हम उस तरफ थे जहां हम खुद सर्वाइव कर रहे थे कि हमें समोसे ना खिलाने पड़े, लेकिन अब हम दूसरी तरफ है जहां हम कहते हैं कि कम से कम ये तो टाइम अच्छा होना चाहिए था, चौका जाना चाहिए था। कभी हैव यू एवर थॉट कि मैं जब वहां था तो मैं भी कभी कभी ये गलतियां करता था, और प्रॉब्ली वेरी डिफरेंट पर्सपेक्टिव एज अ ब्रॉडकास्टर, आप अब गेम को अलग नजरिए से देखते हो या सेम है?
नहीं, सेम ही, आई थिंक वो भी मेहनत कर रहे हैं, डिपेंड करता है कि प्रोड्यूसर जो होता है ना कान में, वो बोलता रहता है इसको थोड़ा अभी 2 ओवर का भी ब्रेक मिलने वाला है, इसको उड़ाना है तो उड़ा सकते हैं। मैंने कहा नहीं। तो आई थिंक थैंक यू सो मच, टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया में एक बात करने का जरिया मिला, बहुत अच्छी कन्वर्सेशन हुई आपके साथ, जिस तरीके से वुमेन्स की बात हो रही है क्रिकेट की, और मुझे उन लोग का भी अच्छा लगा जो बीच में वो दूसरे स्पोर्ट्स में मेडल्स की बात कर रही हैं। आई विश कि हम लोग वो से ज़्यादा मेडल्स लेके आएँ और अपने देश का नाम रोशन करें।
जी हाँ, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट ईयर है, बिकॉज नॉट ओनली एशियन गेम्स देन द वर्ल्ड कप एज वेल, सो बहुत सारी चीजें इकट्ठे आने वाली हैं। सो अभी यहाँ पे बात कर रहे थे, जब अंजू ने कहा था कि 25-30 मेडल तो आ जाने चाहिए, मैंने 5 अपनी तरफ से जोड़ दिए। तो फिर मैरी ने बोला यार बॉक्सिंग में पता नहीं पंच कब लग जाए। अच्छा वो मेरी तरफ नहीं आया, भूल गए थे कि क्रिकेट भी गया है इस बार वुमेन्स का एशियन गेम्स। वो कहते हैं आप, मेरे पे भी प्रेशर आ जाता, वो भूल गए। अच्छा वो बताना।
बट ये इंडिविजुअल स्पोर्ट बहुत डिफिकल्ट है, क्योंकि जैसे
बहुत मुश्किल
मैरी बात कर रही थी कि बॉक्सिंग में नॉकआउट हुआ, फाउल हुआ, फिर गीता फोगाट जिस तरीके से रेसलिंग में, फिर अंजू मैम जैसे से खेलते थे लोग, फिर हमने पहले पीटी उषा जी को देखा है, उससे पहले हम मिल्खा साहब भागते थे, फिर हमारे इस हॉस्टल में ध्यानचंद स्टेडियम था लखनऊ में, हॉकी की टीम बहुत अच्छा कर रही है वो, फिर नीरज चोपड़ा जी बहुत अच्छा कर रहे हैं। आप देखेंगे जिस तरीके से एक ग्राफ बनाया हो, आई थिंक क्रेडिट गोज टू अनुराग ठाकुर सर, बहुत मेहनत कर रहे हैं बीइंग ए स्पोर्ट्स मिनिस्टर। मैंने काफ़ी यूपी में भी जब गए थे, काफ़ी अभी अकेडमी 24 बैडमिंटन कोर्ट बने हैं। आप देखें गांव-गांव से बच्चे आ रहे हैं, फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट वो ट्रेनिंग ले रहे हैं। तो आई थिंक धीरे स्पोर्ट्स का ग्राफ हो रहा है। आई थिंक 5-10 साल में और रिपोर्ट अच्छी होगी, तो मुझे लगता है अच्छा स्टेप है ये। क्योंकि क्रिकेट में आपको याद है जब आईपीएल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट भी नहीं होता तब भी लोग जद्दोजहद कर रहे हैं, रणजी ट्रॉफी में 20-20 ओवर का स्पेल डाल रहे हैं। अब वो चांस उनको मिला है तो वो 7 ओवर तक आ गए हैं अभी। तो मतलब एक थोड़ा सा स्मार्ट कोचिंग हो गई है, बट आई थिंक वो पुराना कोचिंग ज़्यादा बेटर है।
जल्द बुलाइएगा सुरेश रैना को वापस स्टेज पे, क्योंकि वो बताएंगे पिछले साल, अगले साल बताएंगे कि 2023 में हमने जो जीता वो 24, 26, 28 में कहां पर पहुंच रहा है। सो थैंक यू सो मच, इट्स ऑलवेज अ प्लेजर टॉकिंग टू सुरेश रैना।
थैंक यू सो मच, थैंक यू।
Thank you so much, Anjum. Thank you so much, Suresh. If you could just please stand together for a photo op. Thank you. If I could get a round of applause, please, for all our panelists who have come forward today and taken our time and talked to us about something that's so close to our heart. Once again, I'd like to thank all of you for being a lovely audience. This is Right to Excellence, a series of trailblazing summits across various categories brought to you by the Times of India. Thank you so much. Lunch is served outside. Thank you once again.